Third down and 1. Here comes Randall, and bang. Brown was not in on that stop, but half of the defensive team was.
Yeah, they sure were. And you make an interesting point on Brown. We'll watch Brown and Randall all night tonight going against each other. Kansas State is pretty physical up front. They rely on their linebackers and safeties to make most of plays, but you want to keep an eye on somebody tonight. We talk a lot about Wes Lunt. It's Joseph Randall, who you just talked about. He is the key tonight to take the pressure off of the true freshman quarterback.
Staley did a pretty good job, didn't he, Herbie, that time on Brown? He took him on. So they've got the big blocker in there, and he'll lead the way. Follow 9. Randall right behind him. And he comes across the 45-yard line. Sua makes the stop. And Herbie, about the Avis Impact players for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think Joseph Randall, we talked about him. Realize the Cowboys lead the Big 12 in rushing. Josh Stewart is the guy they're going to try to find in space. And you have Sean Lewis and Broderick Brown on the defensive side of the ball. But keep an eye when they throw the ball. They want to try and find up matchups for number 5.
Now Jeremy Smith in the game got the play action throw wide open. And running for a touchdown is the freshman Austin Hayes. He's a freshman from San Antonio, Texas, went to Reagan High School, and that is a 54-yard strike against the unbeaten Wildcats.
Ty Zimmerman, a veteran, a junior, a 3-year starter that time. Take a peek at this, but he had his eyes glued in that backfield, and with Oklahoma State, because they're balanced, you start to think about running the football with Joseph Randall, and if you're not careful, they go right behind you with a passing game.
Quinn Sharp adds the extra point. 7-0. He was wide open. He could have run all the way to Wichita.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
So we're back, and Oklahoma State strikes with the big play against Kansas State. And this has been a team that's been pretty efficient so far in handling big plays, but not here tonight. And now Lockett and Thompson will be back as the freshman quarterback strikes early to a freshman wide receiver. What a leg this young man has. Sharp is one of the best kickers in the country. Herbie.
Well, good job. Great execution here by Todd Monken. He's looking out to the flat, shows just enough to catch the defense sleeping. And then Austin Hayes just sneaks right behind Ty Zimmerman. And again, his eyes are locked in on that quarterback, but a little bit of a fake to the bubble screen catches the defensive back's attention. But Ty Zimmerman, eyes peeking into the backfield, and Hayes shows as a true freshman that he's got what it takes to be able to run away from that defense. True freshman to true freshman. That's a pretty good thing for the Cowboys.
Now Colin Klein and the Wildcats for the left hash. Timeout is called.
Oh, man.
That's the second timeout that they've called here tonight.
As good as they've been this year, most notably against West Virginia and TCU, or West Virginia and Texas Tech, they were really sloppy in Ames against Iowa State. And they started slow, and then they came on in the second half. And this kind of has that feel for Kansas State, just kind of getting comfortable and getting settled in. And eventually Colin Klein and this offense will get in sync.
Yeah, well, they call a timeout. They're over there on the sidelines. And Herbie, you talked about Colin Klein. And if our stats man would just reach behind him and grab that football, I want you to show everybody what he has changed here, okay?
Okay, we'll do that.
I'm sure that George will recover the fumble here right after this play. So you stay right here with me now, my friend.
All right.
First down and 10. Checking over with the sideline. Now he comes back to make that throw out to the side, which is complete short of the first down to Lockett. So Herbie now.
The big thing that he had a problem with is his shoulders were like this on a lot of his deliveries. So Terry Shea, one of the quarterback gurus out there, worked on getting his shoulders level. The other thing he did when he would throw, his elbow would be up when he would throw. Now he's worked real hard on getting the ball out quicker by getting his elbow down tighter. So it's all about a quicker, more level, and a faster release to get the ball out of his hands. And he's making quicker decisions because of his film study.
Good recovery by George and a good performance by Herbie on throwing. Second down and 4 now. Out of the pocket, dangerous on the move, as you all know. There's a penalty flag thrown at the 39-yard line. A penalty flag has been thrown on this play as Klein was scrambling.
I think it may have been a hold there by Ryan Simmons from Oklahoma State. He just threw down the tight end. I don't know if that's what they caught, but
holding by number 52 of the defense. The 10-yard penalty, and it's enough for a first down.
That is Simmons. As you said, that's Ryan Simmons, number 52, who was guilty on that. That, of course, is an automatic first down for Kansas State here, trailing by 7.
And talking to Klein, he said he got in touch with Terry Shea, who's a former head coach in college and has been working with a lot of quarterbacks to get him ready for the draft. And he worked with Josh Freeman, who's from Kansas State and, of course, now down in Tampa Bay. And he spent a lot of time with Terry Shea to be able to get him to make quicker decisions and, again, get the football out and really work a lot on his accuracy. I think that's another big thing that he's doing a much better job of.
Yeah, Shea's a veteran football coach, too. Here's Klein jammed up, trying to follow to the right. You know, Herbie, I've been impressed here early. Now, I know it's real early, but Bill Young's defensive front. You know, last year, we watched them. They were gashed a little bit in the middle, but here tonight, they're holding up pretty good here against this offensive line. Again, it's real early.
Very early, but I think so far what Bill Young was doing a good job of with a veteran defense is mixing up the looks. You can't give Colin Klein in this offense the same look every snap. So they're disguising some looks, just trying to do the best they can at confusing Kansas State's offensive line and Colin Klein.
Second and 8, and Colin's going to put it up. Got a man open way downfield. Complete to Lockett. Lockett is across the 10-yard line. Lockett with that great speed breaks open deep.
And they formed a really nice pocket here for Colin Klein. He gives a little bit of a pump fake, one-on-one coverage, a pump fake, the corner bit on it, and he went right by Justin Gilbert. Gilbert is a veteran corner, expected to have a big year. You see how he bit on a little hesitation that time by Lockett, and there's the accuracy we just talked about from Colin Klein.
50-yard gain on that pass play, so that puts it down close to the 5-yard line across the 10 in the red zone for the first time here tonight. And now checking over. Still got plenty of time to get this play off. Klein wants to go fade left side out of bounds. Incomplete. Chris Harper was the intended target on that. And that was Gilbert defending. And Herbie, that time Gilbert did a pretty good job.
And this is what Bill Young has to face when facing a quarterback that spreads you out and can run and can throw. He decided there Colin Klein's a threat to run the football. And after last year, I don't blame him because he ran for a lot of yards. He put more into that box area than he had in coverage. He had one-on-one coverage, so he's relying on those corners to hold up.
Got to watch the quarterback draw down here. Colin is so dangerous as a runner. He's going to roll to the right. This will run all the way. 5 dives, end zone, touchdown, Kansas State. Double check now to make sure the knee did not come down.
And he also had Braden Wilson, his fullback, as a shovel pass option there. He tries to stretch it. I think he's a little short. Think he got that across?
You know, you might be right, Herbie.
Take a look at the elbow there.
The elbow comes down a little bit short.
See what they think, but that was he's always a threat down in that area to run.
See if they can turn it over on that view.
.6'5", 226 pounds. Like I told you, the defensive coordinator, the tough thing to think about is, do you load up to stop the run because you know it's coming and leave yourself vulnerable to the pass? Or do you try to stop him from throwing? It's right there.
It is
right
close.
at the line. I don't know if that.
It is so close.
When it's that close, you usually see him go with the call on the field.
Well, we're giving him a whole lot of good-looking views on this, and I agree with your first instinct. I thought it was just a touch short.
It's a great example of what's different about Kansas State in 2012. A little sluggish, not quite in sync. We were talking about Oklahoma State and their defensive line and how good they looked. And then a double move, a little pump to the outside. Finds his receiver Lockett downfield, and just like that, they're down deep into Oklahoma State territory, and they can put touchdown up on the board if they get this call.
After further review, the runner was down at the 1-foot line. It's third down.
So that is our referee, Cooper Castleberry, and Shamil Gary, the strong safety, saved a touchdown that time. That's the good news for Oklahoma State. The bad news is, of course, it's still third down here for the Wildcats. So they're going to get another crack at a touchdown before Coach Snyder would have to make a decision if they fail here. They trail it by 7. They've got a pretty good fullback in Wilson. He's a pretty tough hombre if they want him to lead block on this. He's offset to the right a little bit. And there is the pitch. And Wilson, the lead blocker. There is the touchdown. And that was John Hubert.
I'll tell you, this is pretty to watch. Colin Klein on the option. Sean Lewis takes him out. An outstanding block down there by the fullback Wilson, and he gets to the corner for the touchdown. You combine Klein and John Hubert inside that 5-yard line, and they both have that option to get the football. You like your chances if you're Kansas State. That's tough to stop.
So tied at 7 as Hubert runs it in for the 11th time this year.
10 teams, what do you see?
Baylor, #3 entrepreneurship program in the country.
Iowa State, #2 in bio and ag engineering.
Kansas, #1 grad programs in city management and special ed.
Oklahoma, #1 in freshman national merit scholars.
Kansas State, top 10 for all scholarship programs, and Oklahoma State, nation's first advanced degree for unmanned aerial systems.
Texas, #2 producer of PhDs in the U.S.
TCU, top 10 in entrepreneurship.
Texas Tech, world recognized in wind engineering research.
West Virginia, tops in biometric research.
We got to go to break.
I like K-State mainly for the family atmosphere.
Once you're here, you're greeted with a smiling face.
You can step onto K-State's campus and feel that without even talking to anyone, that it's welcoming.
The administrators and faculty, they remember your name.
Anywhere you go, someone's there to help you and to smile at you.
Half of campus is going to be wearing purple, and you know that there's that K-State pride.
It's really evident that you can do something and you can be somebody and you can really define yourself here.
I'm a part of the campus.
K-State to me is home.
And that kind of gives me a sense of place.
NASCAR's chased down to 3 races now. Jimmy Johnson has jumped into first place. They'll head to the Lone Star State, and you can see it tomorrow on ESPN at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We welcome those of you who have switched over at halftime from the USC-Oregon game. 34-24, the Ducks with the lead. Here, Kansas State, unbeaten in #2, leads Oklahoma State. I should say, let me check that. They're tied at 7. Kansas State just scored. And Oklahoma State will have the ball as Gilbert took a knee in the end zone. And Kirk Herbstreit, give those folks who are drifting over here for a little bit of a peek what we've seen here so far tonight.
Well, Wes Lund, a true freshman quarterback. The last time he had the football, he was able to find Austin Hayes. A little bit of a misdirection play where they faked a bubble screen and got Hayes behind coverage and took advantage of a busted coverage by Kansas State. We'll see what he can do this second time, this next series here.
Watching a true freshman quarterback from Rochester High School in Illinois, Wes Lunt, who has thrown 1 touchdown pass here today. And the junior Joseph Randall is #1, and he is a fine running back. Play action with Lunt, plenty of time, fires complete for 9 yards to Charlie Moore. Working with his outside receivers, It was Austin Hayes who scored the touchdown for him, and now he comes back to another outside receiver, Herbie.
Cannot say enough about this offense, and not just in this game, just the way they're executing considering what they lost from a year ago.
Here's Randall running to the short side, picks his way for the first down, out to the 40-yard line, and Arthur Brown.
So right side of the line here, Daniel Koenig, Lane Taylor. Watched him get a good push that time. And then the fullback again, Kyle Staley leading the way. This is a balanced attack from this Oklahoma State offense. It's not just about lining it up, hurrying up, throwing the football. They run the ball for 239 yards a game.
This is Randall trying to get to the outside. Out to the 42-yard line before he's brought down by Ty Zimmerman. Fine safety.
And I think that running game is what makes this offense so tough. So I want you to picture the Mike Leach family, the Hal Mumme, Mike Leach, Dana Holgorsen offense. That's what Oklahoma State is. But they run the football, and they're very physical to go along with that.
Facing 2nd and 8, run off the play action, stands tall, comes middle, and it's incomplete. Let's check in now with Robert Flores for a studio update. Robert?
Hey, Brent, Taco Bell studio update. Oregon and USC, as you mentioned, they're at the half, and they've combined for almost 900 yards in the first 2 quarters. That's Matt Barkley to Nelson Aguilar, and Oregon still leading 34-24. Meantime, LSU leading #1 Alabama 3-0 first quarter in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Robert, and here it is noisy on 3rd and 8 for the freshman. Incomplete. Intended for Josh Stewart, the #1 target. And Jarrell Childs did a fine job defensively for the Wildcats.
This time Stewart's trying to find a hole. You can see he works to the inside, but Childs' instincts there, he was anticipating Stewart moving back into the middle of the defense, and those instincts paid off for him. Nice job in coverage.
So Quinn Sharp, who does everything, punts it away. Thompson runs up, and it's at the 20-yard line. Tyler Lockett, who was also back there with him deep, made that catch. So it was Lockett who caught it. They had both men back deep on that punt. And now Colin Klein will come back out here, tied at 7 with Oklahoma State.
He was able to get things going in their last drive. It was a little sluggish here early for Kansas State, but the big play that got them going in the last drive was a nice thrown ball by Klein to Tyler Lockett on that pump and go.
Pease has checked in as the running back. Angelo Pease, the senior from Georgia, recruited out of a junior college. Hutchinson, JC. Spin move by Pease. Cuts to the outside, and it's a beauty. Best run from the scrimmage tonight. A 13-yarder, and that was a dandy, folks.
They brought a blitz from the field, and because he was able to avoid it right there from Gary, the safety, once he got around that and also got around Levy, then there was a lot of room to the outside. So Bill Young took a chance there and almost paid off for a loss. But because of Pease's ability to break that tackle, he picks up a first down.
Ride him and keep it. On the read option, Klein kept it, and Nicholas was all over him that time, making the stop. Nicholas is a senior. He, too, is from Georgia.
You know, we've talked so much about Klein's improvement as a passer. You forget that last year he had 317 carries and over 1,100 yards rushing, and that's really how he made a name for himself. And one of the most patient quarterbacks you'll see run the football, especially at 6'5", 226 pounds.
He threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for 2 more last week in the Kansas State victory. Far side complete, another first down, and that's Curry Sexton's first catch of the night.
It's amazing how many touchdowns he has accounted for. You go back and add all those up. I mean, that is a heck of a career for most guys. And what's interesting is talking to him this week, he kind of called himself a journeyman. 2008, he redshirted, 09, he's kind of a receiver, some quarterback, some tight end, and then finally started to find his niche as a quarterback in 2010.
Handing off again, and He's stopped for a yard loss. Let's check in down below with Heather Cox. Heather?
Well, guys, it's interesting. Herbie, just hearing you talk about how patient Collin Klein is as a runner. I just overheard the Oklahoma defensive coaches before they took the field telling his players not to over-pursue Collin Klein when bringing pressure off the edge and to stay in front of him on the inside, all because he is so patient out there and really waits for those holes to open up.
If you overrun Collin Klein, he has not just the strength, but the speed to embarrass you with his cutback.
This is a two tight end formation on 2nd down and 11, just in case Young brings pressure from the edge. They want Klein to have some time. Throws at a nice catch for a first down at the 40-yard line by Chris Harper, senior from Wichita's Northwest High School.
Bill Young is simply just saying, we're going to leave our corners out there. We got to be able to match up on the outside. And what you love to see from Harper, the former quarterback, is using his hands to secure the football. There's no doubt he made that catch. They might want to look at it again, but there's no doubt that he secured the football. The relationship between Klein and Chris Harper, Tyler Lockett, Tremaine Thompson, that's another big part of the advancement of this offense.
Switching up the defensive play, Klein on a keeper. Powers past the linebacker and picks up about 8 yards on that as he read the movement with the defense and took off Herbie to a pretty good hole.
And Caleb Levy, the middle linebacker, 95, is dropping back in coverage. I don't know what he saw, but when he dropped back, it gave Collin Klein that much more room and actually opened it up for the fullback, Braden Wilson, to get an easy block on Levy and picked up 7 or 8 yards. You better attack downhill. You better not drop back if you want to stop Klein.
2nd down and 2. Pease stays in the game, and that is the fullback Wilson, who comes back to lead the way, and Klein cuts away from him for the first down. Ran into a bunch of bodies, but he had picked up the first down.
Nothing like running into a 9-man box. And he never complains. It's the greatest thing about him. He'll just keep going and keep going, and you know, you kind of run out of things to say about this guy because of his humble approach. His teammates love him, and one of the most unselfish players that gets so many accolades that you're ever going to find. One-on-one coverage again, Brent. See the corners man to man.
Colin married to a gal who was a basketball player. As he goes back deep, incomplete. He overthrew the receiver that time. There's a penalty flag that comes late. The back judge finally threw it. Gilbert was the defensive back, number 4. And he drew the flag trying to defend Tyler Lockett.
Pass interference by number 4 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty, and it's a first down.
Brent, Shamil Gary and Daytwan Lowe, the two safeties, are literally at 5 yards, 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. 9 men in the box, so you're one-on-one on the outside. This is the matchup that's going to dictate how well Oklahoma State plays. They're willing to leave Gilbert and Brown out there on an island, and if they don't play any better in these matchups, it could be a long night for Oklahoma State's pass defense.
Into the red zone for the 2nd time here tonight for Collin Klein. Game is tied. 2 tight ends are down. Pump fake. Now comes underneath, but he threw it too high for Lockett. And there was a whole lot of cushion right there that time. You could see daylight when he threw it to Lockett. It would have been very, very close to the 4-yard line where the first down marker is that time.
As hard as he has worked on his footwork, that time I think he may have predetermined where he wanted to go with the ball. He pump faked to the flat, to the screen, trying to draw the defense towards it. They actually sank back on the deeper route. Then he tried to, before he could settle his feet, throw it back out to the flat.
Klein keeping it all the way, picks his way. Then he's down close to the 10-yard line, and Alex Elkins, the honorable mention linebacker from North Carolina, making the stop. Number 37 heads off to the sideline as we tick off the final seconds of the opening quarter. Now this presentation of Saturday Night Football presented by Windows 8 will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
A car and a plane collide. The story of survival tonight.
Well, we welcome you back to the second quarter. Saturday Night Football brought to you by Windows 8.
From the 10-yard line.
Third down now for Kansas State. 3rd and 6. Score tied at 7. Klein checks over the sideline, and they readjust with Angelo Pease, the running back, who stayed on the field. Klein keeping it all the way, picking his way behind the left side. White hair, Cornelius Lucas, center B.J. Finney. And that brings up 4th down now, and Coach Snyder is going to have to decide what he wants to do here. Wants to check the distance. They need about 2 yards.
And typically you see Bill Snyder want to kick, but with a quarterback like Colin Klein, who can do so many things for you with the run and the throw, you want to give him the chance here.
The crowd always enjoys that.
Oklahoma State may have to get a timeout here. They're trying to substitute players in and out. You got 12 men on the field right now.
And the 12th man dashes on. And time is called. Now there's a play clock problem, and looks like K-State called a timeout down here. Now they're going to have to confer. Let's see if the play clock ever reset.
There was no timeout called.
What?
Now there was, it involved the play clock, which had not reset. So now, has Coach changed his mind?
He sure has.
Yes, he has. And Anthony Cantelli will come out. The punter, Ryan Dorr, is the holder. So the first instance, I think Coach Snyder agreed with somebody upstairs, but given more time to think about it, the old coach said, let's just take the lead.
Take the point.
23-yard field goal did exactly that.
That's the 40th American Music Awards, with performances by Justin Bieber, Pink, Usher, and more. The 40th anniversary, the American Music Awards, live Sunday, November 18th, 8/7 Central on ABC.
You can never overlook Bill Snyder.
Randall breaks free in zone. Oklahoma State regains the lead. Klein rolls to the right. Fires high and incomplete, and Oklahoma State will survive a scare.
And that's what that was last year, Herbie. A survival run. 97 total points scored in that game down in Stillwater. That was one of the games of the year.
It was a survival for Oklahoma State and a turning point, I believe, in Kansas State in their program, believing that they could play with the big boys.
Well, Gilbert will be forced to take a knee, and it'll come out on the 25-yard line. And this season, here's where they rank Oklahoma State. They're still first in total yards, and still very, very impressive, even though their big fellas and Blackman and Whedon are playing in the National Football League.
And they lost Tracy Moore early this year, one of their senior receivers. Isaiah Anderson, a senior receiver. I mean, they're getting it done with a true freshman quarterback. A lot of young wide receivers. Luckily, they have veteran leadership up front, and in the running back spot at Joseph Randall.
Yeah, Isaiah is back and active, and here comes the end around with Josh Stewart. They finally hand it to him, and he muscles his way for about 8 yards on first down. Josh Stewart is a sophomore. He's from Denton, Texas. He's only 5'10", 178, but he has become the go-to guy so far for the quarterbacks at Oklahoma State. 2nd and 2. Randall slashes for the first down.
I like that word, slashes, because that's how he runs. I mean, he's an upright, straight line kind of guy with speed, and he's really become more physical in the time that he has spent in Stillwater. Spent a lot of time in a weight room. He's got soft hands. They can throw the ball to him. Probably one of the most underrated backs in college football.
He'll have a decision to make. He's a junior at the end of this season. I know the Cowboys would dearly love to have him back. They got a young team here. It's going to mature, could grow up next year, and Joseph Randle could be a big part of it. Running with the football, not that time. Ball comes loose. Scooped up by Kansas State. Zimmerman, who's Johnny on the spot when it comes to a loose football, scooped that up. And let's see if the runner was down. They're headed off the field, so I believe this ball came free. It did. And was a fumble.
Brent, it came out, and you'll see very closely that this football came out before his knee touched. Randall's fighting to try to get away from the defense, and this is what Kansas State does to you. Good job by Travis Brents in there fighting to try to get to that football. A lot of purple jerseys all over the place. And in Big 12 games, that ball is out. They are plus 14 in the turnover margin.
First down and 10. Best field position of the night for the Wildcats. Just across the Cowboys' 30-yard line. And Hubert back as a running back. Klein keeps it straight up the middle. Got 7 yards on first down before Lowe makes the stop.
Coming right off of the block of the fullback. Wilson also follows Nick Pitts to left guard. He kind of does that one Mississippi, two Mississippi, go kind of thing. He's just waiting to let the alignment and the fullback set up their block, and then he just reads the blocks and goes in the direction where he finds that crease. So just a zone play.
Lockett is slot right. Harper outside him. Klein keeping it. And he'll be short of the first down as Bassett makes the stop. Cooper Bassett's a senior. He's out of Tuttle, Oklahoma. Now this is an interesting 3rd and 2 here. And whenever you've got Klein, the defense has to be so aware of him because Herbie has that great running ability.
Yeah, and John Hubert is not in the ball game right now and has really not been a factor at this point in the attack for Kansas State.
Yeah, they got that big-time lead fullback there, and Wilson right next to him. There he goes first, gets a block, first down. I'm telling you, I have seen some good fullbacks. And there's a penalty flag. Penalty flag.
Came in late. I don't know, maybe a face mask? It came right where they're tackling Klein.
A personal foul, grabbing the face mask by number 99 of the defense.
That's what it was.
The penalty's half the distance to the goal, and it's first down.
When you try to stop Klein, I think guys get so frustrated with him towards the end of the play. Barnett just grabbing at anything he can get, grabs a hold of that face mask, throwing a little horse collar in there as well. Klein's trying to say, hey man, give me a break.
And his wife's very anxious up in the stands too. Shaylin watching him. Of course, she was a basketball player here. John Hubert's back in as the running back. Quick throw to Lockett on the outside. Lockett is going to get to the 5-yard line. And so we've mentioned Shaylin, and there she is in the white Wildcat hooded sweatshirt right there. And she did play on the Wildcat women's basketball team, and she has a sister who plays for the Tennessee women's basketball team. And oh, by the way, her father was a heck of an athlete by the name of Gary Spanny, who was one of the great linebackers here at Kansas State, and then went to the Kansas City Chiefs for about 10 years. Gary is in attendance tonight too, watching this game. Second down and goal. Read option, Hubert, end zone, touchdown. Kansas State leads for the first time today. Oh, let me check it. You know, they're scoring so fast, I forgot. They're scoring as fast as Oregon.
I wouldn't go that far, but they're scoring fast. They've settled in here.
They got that great field position, Herbie, on the fumble by Randall.
That's right. Took advantage of it.
Yeah.
As a zone read play, Cooper Bassett takes Colin Klein and it opens it up for John Hubert. He got back into the game and took advantage of it into the end zone. Touchdown, Cats. And look who approves of Kansas State being up by 10.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Brought to you by the Buick Verano. Unexpected luxury in a car this size. Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy. And AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible.
Herbie, this is Fort Riley Day here at the stadium. That's very nearby. Named in honor of Major General Bennett C. Riley. He led the first military escort along the Santa Fe Trail. And I know you're interested in this because you like the things out west.
Yeah.
In the years after the Civil War, that's where General George Custer was stationed at Fort Riley before he headed to Montana. Justin Gilbert picks it up on the goal line now. Got a crease. 20-25. Tightrope walking, coming free. Here he comes. Unbelievable. Justin Gilbert.
Gilbert trying to make up for some of the...
Hold on now. He might be out of bounds over there, about 41 yards, right?
Yep, he sure was. He allowed the kicker, I think, to push him out of bounds. Right.
Not out of bounds, but he is there.
There, yeah. Kansas
he was
State catches
really...
a break. You know, Gilbert's had a tough night in coverage, one-on-one coverage. Makes up for it there with a big return. Almost took it all the way to the house.
Well, it's up to the freshman now to fire things up here for the Cowboys. And he's got him rolling again. A beautiful strike downfield to Charlie Moore.
He gets one-on-one coverage. He goes right over top of the safety. Safety's biting up there, expecting the run, and we've seen these receivers. They can get vertical. They hit these creases vertically when they catch you napping and looking into the eyes in the backfield, expecting the run.
Draw play with Randall. Running to daylight and brought down at the 22-yard line by Adam Davis.
Another big block that time by Kyle Staley leading the way. These safeties from Kansas State, Ty Zimmerman, number 12, Jared Milo, number 23. They're up near the top of this entire team in tackles, so they're very aggressive, and they've got a big-time challenge tonight against this offense.
On second down, fires it off to the side for a first down across the 20-yard line. Josh Stewart.
Showing some maturity there. Not a play where he has to throw it 40 yards downfield, Brent, but he just checks it down. Gets it to a guy who could pick up a first down. Nice job by Westland. Playing very, very well here early in this game for this Cowboys offense.
17-yard line. Jeremy Smith checked in to the 8-yard line. Is the backup running back from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Went to Union High School. They played great high school football there.
You can see the safety here, Milo, Brent. This is what he has to face, is anticipation of the running game. Anticipation of that, and then the passing game can get behind him.
A little bit up-tempo here.
It sure is, boys. We got to be ready. We got to be ready. But Milo and Zimmerman, again, boy, they are really, really in a little bit of a quandary facing West Lund in this offense, because if they don't come up and run support, nobody's there. And when they do come up and run support, the ball's going by them through the air with the pass game.
Third down and 1. Crowd making it tough for the freshman. Play clock down to 5. Gets the handoff. Jeremy needs a crease. Not going to get it. Thrown back. Beautiful defensive stand right there. And now the decision will be up to Coach Gundy on the other side. 4th down.
They slammed the defensive line.
Comes the kicker.
Brought the pressure. Who would have thought we would have seen potentially a couple kicks here? They have one of the best kickers in the entire country here in Sharp.
Not only, folks, is he one of the best kickers, he may be the best punter. Quinn Sharp, number 13, with a 25-yard field goal attempt to pull him to within 7. So they get the field goal back. Now they're back to within 7. We'll take a break. Alabama leads LSU 7-3 in another big one. Folks, the Disney ABC Television Group will designate Monday, November 5th as a day of giving across its network and syndicated programming, encouraging tens of millions to help those impacted by Hurricane Sandy. ESPN proud to join ABC to help raise donations for this cause. To donate now, text ABC to 90999 to give $10, or go to redcross.org/ABC. And for some of you folks back in the Staten Island area, if you have any power, our hearts bleed for you here tonight, and we hope that things get a lot better here in the next few days. Here it is, Tyler Lockett of Kansas State from the end zone. He's got an alley. Here comes Lockett. Look out. He can move. Touchdown, 100 yards. Tyler Lockett of the famous Lockett family.
What a wedge created by Kansas State, and he doesn't need a lot of room. There's nobody on that side. Look at the kicker, Sharp. He actually runs out of the way of Lockett to like open it up for him. Let me get out of your way, and let you take that all the way to the end zone. I'd like to talk about all the great blocks there, but there was nobody on that side of the field.
So Lockett's extra point is added. That's the second kickoff return touchdown this year for Lockett. The other 96 yards.
This Lockett is such a weapon for Kansas State. And look, there's just no one to block on this side. But what I want you to watch, we love Sharp. He's maybe the best punter, one of the best combination kickers that there is. But I don't know where he's going there. He's just trying to clear out of the way. But Lockett is a dangerous man in the open field. I don't blame Sharp for getting out of the way.
A short kickoff fielded at the 19-yard line by the Cowboys. And now they break free. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 81 yards for the touchdown. Desmond Rowland from Dallas, Texas. I'm trying to think now. I've seen a lot of things. Well, I must have seen back-to-back kickoffs.
What is it with you and I, with Kansas State and Oklahoma State against LSU and Alabama? I mean, we just get action. If you like points, you like scores, this is the game that you want to watch. Rowland's a third-string tailback, and he didn't do it like Lockett. Lockett did it with speed and finesse. My man Rowland just ran right through Kansas State's kickoff coverage.
So here's Quinn Sharp. He tacks on the extra point. And let's take a breath and go to Robert Flores in the studio for an update. Take it away, Robert.
All right, Brent, Dr. Pepper conference update from the SEC. Alabama goes 92 yards on LSU. Eddie Lacy the touchdown. Tigers just tried a fake field goal. Nick Saban and the Tide were all over it. Alabama 7-3 in Baton Rouge.
Well, we're taking a look at the Pacific Life game summary right here. Total yards, Kansas State with 183 and Oklahoma State with 155. Oklahoma State committed the only turnover of this game, and believe it or not, Mr. Herbstreit, back-to-back kickoff returns for touchdowns, and now it is Mr. Lockett's turn. And we mentioned the fact that his father, Kevin, and his uncle, Aaron, both also played here at Kansas State. In fact, his father is K-State's all-time leading receiver. That's right, 3,032 yards, 217 passes. He played for Coach Snyder in the mid-1990s. So let's see if he's going to get another crack at it. Coming out. This would be plus 100 if he can make it. Looking for a seam. Finally, a kickoff return man goes down on the 28-yard line.
You know why Quentin Sharp got out of the way on his return? Because watch Cantelli 10. He gets leveled when Rowland took it back to the house. So maybe Sharp's got the right idea when you're a kicker. Just get out of the way before somebody knocks you out.
You're going to get hurt out here. First down and 10. Pease back in as the running back for the Wildcats. Klein looking to throw, now takes off to the other side and then finally hits Chris Harper. And so tonight's Aflac, folks, Mr. Herbstreit is ineligible. He's already given us the answer. Name the Kansas State player who finished the highest in the Heisman Trophy voting. Michael Bishop, L. Roberson, or Darren Sproles.
Before
which one of those three? That's true.
You said, hey, we come back.
That's true. You gave me the answer. You're ineligible.
And I
You're
said
ineligible.
Michael Bishop before we even
Now you gave away the answer.
Well, I'm sorry.
Now, Mr. Herbstreit, how
I'm
can
sorry.
you do that?
I'm sorry.
Aflac, we apologize. The Duck is going to be mad at you. I'm telling you.
He will be.
A second down now. Here we go, Colin. Standing tall, coming deep. Lockett comes across and makes the reception. Lockett working the middle of the field. Now let's see if he made this catch.
They're definitely going to want to take a look at this. Ball is underthrown. Lockett gets his arms underneath it. Boy, they're going to definitely take another look at that. The ball looked like it went between his arms and hit the surface. Well-designed play. The patience that time from Klein as a passer and not a runner. There they go.
We're going to take a look at it here upstairs. This Big 12 crew.
So that play took some time to develop. Two receivers.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch. The previous play is under further review.
Two receivers on two routes that were pretty deep, and see the ball slip through Lockett's hands and
incomplete.
Right to the surface. Did a good job of selling it, though. He came up saying, I got it.
So here we are. And folks, if you missed this, Aflac, you got a real problem. The Kansas State player who finished the highest in the Heisman Trophy voting, and Mr. Herbstreit all over it, gave me the answer before he knew the question. Michael Bishop, second back in 1998. We ask it tonight because Colin Klein, of course, is the perceived front runner. Everybody says he is.
All three of those players are great players, but how sweet was Michael Bishop?
He was a dandy.
Man, he would run the Bill Snyder offense, an option attack where they could attack a defense.
Darren Sproles, I think, injured recently and not able to play Sunday football, but he's had a great career in the National Football League. Well, Coach Gundy across the way now, and this one will be coming back, we certainly believe, after taking a peek at that replay. So that will nullify the 31-yard gain. They'll get the spot where the ball is.
I believe that was second down, so this will be third down if they end up overturning this. Third down and 9. Pretty big call here. I think this is the most obvious shot, showing it through his arms.
That one seems pretty easy to me. Two of the defensive backs on the field immediately signaled that it was incomplete, and one of them actually had a better angle than the official. And Herbie, you're right, it was 2nd and 9 back at the 28. Come on, fellas, it can't take this long.
After further review, the pass was incomplete. It's third down at the 28-yard line.
It's a big call and the right call.
Please set the clock to 6:45. 6:45.
So here we go. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Klein back in the gun with 4 wide receivers. Three down linemen for the Cowboys. Under pressure. Sacked at the 20-yard line by Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson, a junior from Haskell, Oklahoma.
He went right by Cornelius Lucas. Bill Young's got to be proud of this. He rushed 3 and he dropped 8 at the bottom of the screen. He just used a speed rush to get around Lucas. And when you, again, can rush 3 guys and you can get pressure on Colin Klein, you got to be pretty happy. This team has not given up many sacks in the entire year. That was a big stop that time for the Cowboys.
So Dorr is back to punt. And stepping in is Charlie Moore to make the catch. And that was the first punt of the night for Kansas State. Well, we almost had a huge shakeup in the BCS. Notre Dame forced to go to triple overtime to pull it out on Pittsburgh. Tomorrow night on ESPN, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see if that affects the Irish or anybody else in the rankings here tonight. Oregon in a shootout with USC. Alabama leading a low scoring, what else is new, battle with LSU. There is that shuttle pass on the jet sweep, and Stewart again coming around, and the clock will continue to move. He was down at about the 43-yard line.
Yet to really see Josh Stewart get loose. Todd Monken loves to find matchups to his advantage. They study the film all week, and it's not just line up and play. They try to move guys around to get to the matchup that's most favorable for Wes Lunt and his Cowboy offense.
Fake the draw play on 2nd and 7, deflected, incomplete. He was trying to hit the fullback coming out, and Randall Evans was blitzing number 15, and the sophomore from Miami deflected this.
So he showed pass, then he fakes the draw, and then he comes back to throw, and with Evans coming on the blitz, Lunt is very lucky he got the ball out of his hands that time before Evans got to him.
Tough crowd for the freshman. It's loud in here, folks, real loud. Got back before the snap. Lunt's in trouble, and now he's going down. Sacked by Childs. He's a senior from right down the road in Kansas City.
This is tough on a true freshman on the road. Tuggle on one side, Milo on the other. Childs also coming in there. When a quarterback feels that pressure and he feels this kind of environment and his primary receiver is not there, typically he's just going to be able to try to just check down or throw it away.
Sharp hangs one beautifully to the 10-yard line. It is fielded by Kansas State, and Thompson kicks it out now. Thompson's down at midfield.
This is the Bill Snyder way of winning games. Trying to win the field position battle. We've seen the kickoff return. Thompson this time gets the ball. This time there were some outstanding blocks, and Thompson also uses his instincts as a ball carrier out in the open field. That's Kansas State. Now all of a sudden they've flipped the field and they're starting to drive close to midfield.
38-yard, another big play turned in here tonight. Klein working with half the field, and Hubert back as a running back. Klein on sort of a busted play, battling to get back to the line of scrimmage. Now that last one was 38 yards, but just to get you up to date, we've had the 54-yard touchdown pass to Hayes, the 50-yard pass play to Lockett, forced fumble lead to Atiti, then the 100-yard kickoff return by Lockett, and Roland answered with an 81-yarder. Now we've had a 38-yard punt return, so we've had plenty of big plays here tonight so far. Klein now with a 2nd down and 10. Since 3 wide to the right. throws in underneath to his tight end, Travis Tannehill. And Lewis defends Tannehill. That was Tannehill's first catch of the night.
And Oklahoma State rotating a lot of bodies in and out of the lineup, trying to stay fresh and trying to be able to stay up with stopping the size of Collin Klein in the run game, and also the way they can throw the football. But they've gotten him again to a third down. That's the key tonight for Oklahoma State. How often can they get Klein to third and long?
And this time it is 3rd and 7. Klein checks. He has 4 wide receivers. You'll have to dump it off to Hubert. That'll be short of the first down. So keeping him, Herbie, in 3rd and long prevented him from picking up a first down when he had to drop it off.
And Bill Young this time shows pressure, and then right at the snap, they drop everybody. Again, I think that confused Collin Klein. They looked like he was going to be man-to-man. As the ball is snapped, they dropped 8 into coverage, 5 in the short routes, 3 that were deep, and they rushed 3. And Klein, all he could do was just check it down to Hubert. Good job again by Bill Young's defense.
Glidden and Moore are back deep. Dorr hangs it up high. And it is caught at the 12-yard line by Glidden. Let's head to Robert Flores for SportsCenter right now. Robert.
All right, Brent, here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. Brought to you by HP, Oregon and USC. Trying to break the scoreboard at the Coliseum. Kenyon Barner, 200-plus yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. They lead by 10, but USC is about to score a touchdown. Notre Dame survives a scare from Pittsburgh. They win in triple overtime. Panthers had a field goal to win it at the end of double overtime, but they missed it.
And Robert, when they missed it, a big groan went up in the parking lot here in Manhattan, Kansas. A lot of folks tailgating, had the flat screens out there, and they were all huddled around hoping that Pittsburgh could win it, but it was not to be. Picked off, intercepted. Coming back is Chapman, just like a year ago in Stillwater. A pick 6 for Alan Chapman. A 29-yard interception return against the youngster Wes Lunt. Cantelli tacks on the extra point.
Now there's the mistake that Wes Lunt was looking to avoid. Chapman just baited him, sitting back behind the safety that time, and it was kind of an inverted coverage, and I think by inverted, the safety kind of sneaks up, the corner sits back, and then he just stepped right in front of the wide receiver. Lunt, I think, was anticipating Chapman to be back deeper in coverage and was just confused. I don't even think he saw Chapman. He put the ball up out in the flat. His receiver wasn't even anticipating the ball. And that is the 6th non-offensive touchdown this year for this Kansas State football team.
And a year ago, when Alan Chapman picked off Whedon, he went 60 yards for the touchdown. Not quite as far here tonight. And for the season, that is Chapman's 2nd interception. He picked Kansas off earlier this year, so Cantelli will have the ball on the tee.
What a crazy number you just saw with that graphic. Points off turnovers, 104 for Kansas State, 0 for their opponent. Can you say Bill Snyder? That is Bill Snyder football.
Kickoff is fielded to 6 by Gilbert. Gilbert going to go down at about the 8-yard line. Tomorrow, NFL Countdown presented by IBM, 10 a.m. on ESPN. To get all the latest news from around the league. Then at 11 on ESPN2, Robert Flores, Matthew Berry, and Tim Hasselbeck will give you the information you need to get your lineup set with fantasy football presented by Papa John.
How does Wes Lunt respond to the pick 6? Still 2:29 to go in this first half. They cannot self-destruct here if you're Oklahoma State.
I'll tell you how this crowd's responding. and they decided to run a draw play with Randall. So Coach Gundy wants to be real cautious, and we're checking down below with Heather.
Well, you guys talk about Wes Lunt and how he'll respond. Don't forget, this is just his second game back. Before the game, Gundy told me he wouldn't have even played last week if J.W. Walsh hadn't been hurt. He's coming back from a dislocated knee and a twisted ankle, and as a freshman.
Exactly. Goes to Randall for a second time, and they get out of trouble with that first down before Adam Davis makes the stop for the Cats.
Good job on the line getting up to the second level. Arthur Brown, we talked about earlier tonight, but hasn't been much of a factor in defending the run. That time he was locked up by Jonathan Rush, who got up there and secured that block.
Incomplete. Intended for Charlie Moore.
Threw it right back towards Chapman and off to the right. So they pick up the first down, and then they say, hey, we believe in the kid. Let's give him the ball, and let's give him a chance to try to throw it.
Lonergan back in trouble. And a completion, and it was a beauty under duress as he drops it off now to Jackson. And Blake Jackson, who is a tight end from Gilbert, Arizona, kind of a go-to guy.
And the line that time, a mistake on the left side. They just let a man in free. And one thing about Wes Lunt at 6'4", he's not the most mobile guy, but Brent, you said it, under duress, he was able to still make the throw. And you saw some power that time from Blake Jackson.
3rd and 3. So he gets it back to a manageable number here, and a timeout has been called by Gundy. Well, we take a look at this week's BCS standings, brought to you by Discover Card. Alabama leading a tough defensive battle against LSU. Kansas State, you're watching here. Notre Dame surviving in triple overtime, and as Robert Flores told you, the scoreboard might break in the Coliseum in that game between Oregon and USC, 41-38. They put up 79 points, and they haven't even reached the fourth quarter yet.
Well, Notre Dame finding a way. After Everett Golson threw that interception, it looked like it just wasn't meant to be, but they never gave up. Came back, got it into overtime, and when you get Notre Dame and South Bend into overtime, I don't like your chances.
Staley, the fullback, is on the field. Play action. They're going to throw for the first down. A beautiful call by Gundy to Josh Stewart, an inside receiver who slashed in. And, folks, that's a big call.
Gutsy by Stewart. Look at Arthur Brown right there. He started to come up. That ball was thrown so quickly. Brown did not have a chance to make a play. Good focus and concentration by Stewart.
A 13-yard gain. Lunt keeps it airborne, and 12 more yards and a first down. This one to Hayes, who caught the long touchdown pass. And this very impressive for the freshman. After throwing that pick six, he has come back and he's driving the Cowboys. Going deep down the middle, incomplete, and Charlie Moore was open. Just a little bit less air, and they'd have had 6 because Charlie Moore was dead open.
Yeah, he had him, and it was a busted coverage by Oklahoma State. Alan Chapman kind of turning and looking to Ty Zimmerman and saying what happened there. There was some confusion, and Wes Lunt made him pay for that earlier to a touchdown. This time he wasn't able to connect.
From the gun. Incomplete, as his receiver, who was slanting that time, dropped it, and John Goodlett unable to hang on, one of the inside men. Now it's 3rd down and 10. Final minute here of the first half. Steps away from the pressure, near side floater picked off. Alan Chapman made the catch. He and Zimmerman were over there working the sideline. Zimmerman was right there also with Chapman. That's the 3rd turnover of the night. The 2 interceptions now to go with the fumble.
Great effort by Meshach Williams to get in there, and his pressure, I think, affected that football. I thought Zimmerman
had it, and Chapman took it away.
Said, I'm going for number 2 tonight.
Now Chapman goes down with it. Instant replay's got to take a look at this because you're too far on the out-of-bounds sideline. That's the issue on this play.
A catch for an interception. The play is under review.
There's no question that this is a much tougher call than we had on the fumble and a couple of earlier calls here, because what is interesting here is that Zimmerman has the ball and Chapman takes it away.
I'm looking at Zimmerman to see if he has his foot down, and then Chapman ends up taking it away.
If it's ruled here,
when does he have possession of the football?
Zimmerman does not come down to make a play. So Chapman took it away from him, and I believe Chapman's out of bounds.
Well, it looks like his shoulder.
Take a look at this now. This is a toughie, folks. But Chapman goes out of bounds after he takes it away.
I think it really depends on when he has possession, because it looks like Zimmerman has it, and then Chapman takes it. By the time he takes it, his right knee looks like it's touching out of bounds. If Zimmerman right there gets his foot down.
If he had
a ball,
when
but he
the
didn't.
foot came down.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Chapman's taking the ball. Okay, they ruled that Zimmerman had possession and got the 1 foot down. There's no question. And there's a young man who, like you said, Herbie, he wanted his second pick. And they gave it to Chapman.
That's right, yeah.
So he does have his second interception as he took it away. Hubert is the running back. He spins out to the 28-yard line, and coming up on the Capital One halftime report, John and Jesse will have all the day's big highlights.
Talked about a key for Oklahoma State being Wes Lunt, the true freshman in this environment. How would he perform? He had to avoid the turnovers, and for the most part played pretty well in the first half. The last 2 possessions, the pick 6, then he's moving a team down the field, the interception. Remember, when they were in Tucson earlier this year, they battled against Arizona but lost on the road because of 3 of his interceptions.
Right up the middle. Hubert back on the field, bolts out to the 44-yard line with 15 seconds remaining, and the clock is stopped with the timeout.
He gets upfield in a hurry. Really a good compliment to this Kansas State offense and their style with Colin Klein.
15 yards on the play. Good for a wild.
So those of you who keeping one eye on Alabama, they just ran a quarterback draw, and going into halftime, they're going to lead LSU 14-3. Les Miles gambled on a long field goal and gave Alabama field position, and they took advantage of it in the closing minute of the first half. So it is going to be 14-3. First down and 10. And here it is 31-17. Unbeaten Kansas State, ranked right behind Alabama, in command of the freshman quarterback and this young Oklahoma State team. Klein got time, complete to the 40-yard line, and Harper stops the clock by getting out of bounds with 9 seconds to go. You know what Coach Snyder's trying to do. At least get yourself a field goal here if you can in the last 9 seconds.
Nice one-on-one matchup. Again, Klein in rhythm with his receivers, and Kentelly's 11-12 this year with field goals, so he's a real asset and strength. His long this year is 42, so they still need some yardage here to get within his range.
Kansas State out of timeouts, but they can work the near side and the short side of the field right now, try to get out of bounds. Klein looking in that direction. He's got to hurry. Deflected, incomplete. 4 seconds on the clock. Robinson deflected that ball. That's about the 3rd pass he's had deflected.
Yeah, and he also was just late. I mean, that was a poor decision. He had his tight end near the boundary, And I think he got a little bit selfish there. Instead of taking a 7 or 8 yard gain, he waited for one of his deeper routes to be able to pick up a first down and be able to stop the clock. But if he would have thrown to his tight end, he would have been able to get out of bounds.
So the final play here coming up, 3 wides for Kansas State over to the right side. Klein rolls, gonna have to heave it. Here comes the Hale Klein. Thompson had it, and I think the forward lateral would have brought it back. But Thompson, watch this athletic move as he goes up and comes down with the football, and watch and see what he does.
Had to throw it at Chris Harper.
Let's check in with Heather and Coach Snyder. Heather.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, a fumble recovery, a pick 6, an interception. How has the defense helped set the tone in the first half?
Well, I think we're playing awful well defensively. We've given up 10 points, and probably 7 of that was legitimately against our defense. So, you know, my guess is we're playing well, but we've given up some plays that we shouldn't give up either. So.
And your offense, a little uncharacteristic to start with 2 early timeouts and a penalty. How did you get them on track?
Well, we've got to talk some things over, and we've just got to be more disciplined about the things we're doing. I need to coach him better.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, coach him up. All right. Stay tuned, folks, for the Capital One halftime report. John Saunders and Jesse Palmer. A lot of things to show you right after this.
Welcome to the Capital One halftime report.
Kansas State with a halftime lead at 31-17, doing it very, very nicely on defense. That's Alan Chapman with the interception, takes it in for the touchdown. Second half still to come. John Saunders alongside of Jesse Palmer. And tonight was a night, the entire day, in fact, to showcase yourself if you were a team without a loss. Now, that would, of course, include Notre Dame with the big victory against Oklahoma a week ago. Monty Te'o and the Irish ready to go against Pitt. Should be an easy game, right? It wasn't. Ray Graham turns the corner on the outside.
He had long runs in this game, one of 55 yards, one of 48 yards. He's the first running back to score a touchdown against Notre Dame this season.
Pitt on the 9-yard line. Tino Sunseri to J.P. Holtz, touchdown.
That was set up by a Tommy Reese interception. In the fourth quarter, Notre Dame's down 20-6, first and goal. They're going to throw a throwback screen to their wide receiver, T.J. Jones, and they do it against the perfect defense. They get a corner blitz off the edge, 3 offensive linemen able to get out into pattern, 1, 2, 3 blocks. That allows Jones to score. Notre Dame would miss the extra point. They'd be down by 8.
So later in the fourth quarter, second and goal, goes into the end zone. Williams picks it off. Notre Dame loses their chance to score, but Pitt runs barely any time off the clock. So they still have a chance. 3 minutes to play. They're coming back. All kinds of time. DeVaris Daniels pulls this one in.
Everett Golston did this time and time again in the game, buying time with his legs, keeping his focus downfield, able to find explosive plays in the passing game.
Then Golston looks like he's going to run, but finds Theo Riddick for the touchdown.
Such an advantage to have an athletic quarterback when playing in the red zone, and a beautiful throw and great catch by Theo Riddick.
So they need the 2-point conversion. Golston scrambles around, buying the time, as Jesse just said, and goes in.
There's another example. You want to throw the throwback screen to the tight end, but it's not there. Everett Golston making it count with his legs.
Second overtime. Wood looks like he's in for the touchdown, but it's a fumble, and Hawley recovers this one.
Second time that Notre Dame couldn't punch it in inside Pitt's 2-yard line.
So Kevin Harper with a chance to win the game for Pitt, but he's wide right.
He had been 3 for 3 on field goals leading up to this kick, and it would give Notre Dame life.
Harper would kick another field goal, but then Notre Dame would go in for the touchdown. Golston with the keeper, and Brian Kelly's team remains unbeaten.
We did not play as well as we needed to. We had key turnovers. We didn't fit plays the way we fit. We didn't tackle as well. It was not our best effort. Now, having said that, we played a team that played extremely well today, and we found a way to win. And that's a good thing.
It's been a good thing for the Irish all year, Jesse. 5 of their 9 wins have come by 7 points or fewer, including beating unranked teams like Purdue, BYU, and Pitt by just 3 points. Alabama and Oregon and beating everybody by double digits.
Human voters want to see Notre Dame be dominant week in, week out, but in Brian Kelly's defense, at the end of the day, a win is a win, and good teams find ways to win games.
So Alabama, we know they're a good team. They'd have to beat another very good team to remain unbeaten. A.J. McCarron, his chance to showcase for the Heisman Trophy. Eddie Lacy, though, barrels his way into the end zone.
This is a battle of the Titans when you consider the best offensive line in the nation in Alabama against that D-line from LSU. Alabama getting the best of them right there.
Up 7-3 at that point. Brad Wing with a high punt. Jones muffs it, and Sandolph gets the recovery.
This will be one of the critical errors early in this game for Alabama. Now, A.J. McCarron, their quarterback, has since been able to run one in. Here it is in the red zone late in the half on a 2-minute drive. Nothing open downfield. All the defenders with their backs to McCarron. Good decision running the football. Taking a note from Everett Golston right there, 14-3 up at the half.
Oregon facing a USC. Remember, USC knocked them off a year ago. Marcus Mariota will find DeAnthony Thomas for a touchdown.
This was the opening drive, and it took Oregon just 1:05 for DeAnthony Thomas to find the end zone.
Then Kenyon Barner will take the handoff and go 27 yards.
Oregon would score touchdowns on their first 5 offensive possessions, and Kenyon Barner is having a career game tonight.
Matt Barkley going deep to find Nelson Aguilar for a 76-yard touchdown.
This was set up by a missed field goal by Oregon. You see the free safety not playing the ball, and Matt Barkley able to make explosive plays throwing the football so far.
So you can easily make the argument, at least I can make the argument, that if you're looking at the unbeaten teams thus far right now, Kansas State the most impressive.
Yeah, I agree. All 4 unbeatens, always trying to impress voters. We saw Notre Dame be inconsistent, unimpressive, winning in triple overtime at home. Alabama's been so-so. They've run the football well. The run defense has been shaky, and of course they fumbled that punt. Oregon's scoring at will, but their defense or special teams can't stop anybody. They haven't been so impressive. Kansas State, when you consider the way Colin Klein is playing, the defense has only allowed 50 rushing yards. They've gotten 2 picks. They've forced a fumble, and Kansas State returned a kickoff for a touchdown. They're the most complete team so far today. We still have football to play, but I would argue Kansas State the most impressive of the unbeaten 4 teams so far, and everyone's trying to jockey for number 1 and number 2 in the BCS standings during the month of November.
Especially when you've got to impress not just the human voters, but those computers as well. Georgia, the Dogs looked good a week ago against Florida. Could they keep it going this week? Stick around. More to come in a moment.
I should be sleeping like a love, but when I get home...
The Capital One Halftime Report, brought to you by the Capital One Cash Rewards Card with a 50% annual bonus. What's in your wallet? This is the Capital One Halftime Report.
John Saunders and Jesse Palmer. Georgia a week ago, a winner over Florida, and looked impressive doing so, facing Ole Miss today. And Aaron Murray will scramble, fire to Tavares King, 40 yards.
This was the last play of the first half on 3rd and 25. Great job by Murray, keeping his focus and vision downfield.
This time looking for Malcolm Mitchell, and you see the strength of the arm for the touchdown.
Yeah, Georgia came into the game with 25 plays on offense of 30 or more yards. They need a win next week at Auburn. They're in the SEC title game.
Well, Florida, the team they beat a week ago, and Florida, a team that's hoping that Georgia stumbles somewhere along the way. And young quarterback Driscoll finds Mike Gillislee on the screen pass, and he takes it 45 yards.
Great patience by Jeff Driscoll, allowing the rush to come to him, allowing linemen to get downfield. But the game ball goes to Florida's defense. They had 4 interceptions on the day. They're done their SEC play. They're hoping for that Georgia loss next week.
Texas A&M against the Mississippi State team that lost to Alabama a week ago. Kristen Michael takes the handoff, 22 yards.
A&M had a season-high 352 rushing yards last week against Auburn. Kristen Michael getting him off to a good start in this one.
Johnny Manziel, another great young quarterback, can do it with his arm and does it here with his feet.
That's why they call him Johnny Football, 3rd in the nation in total offense. Big win for A&M. Now they have to go on the road to play Alabama next.
Oklahoma facing Iowa State. Oklahoma beaten up pretty badly by Notre Dame at home a week ago, but bouncing back today. Brendan Clay takes the handoff, stays on his feet, 18 yards.
I was impressed with the play of Landry Jones in this one. Threw 2 early picks, but he rebounded to throw for over 400, threw 4 touchdowns. Nice rebound from that Notre Dame loss last week.
Texas against Texas Tech. David Ash gets his starting quarterback job back. 25 yards looking for Mike Davis.
Yeah, he did a nice job bouncing back. Couple touchdown throws, finding Davis in the corner. What about Texas's defense? No explosive plays of more than 25 yards given up. Congrats.
Coming up on Sunday NFL Countdown, Big Ben faces Eli at the Meadowlands. We look back at the draft day that turned around 2 franchises. And the search for players who haven't performed continues. Don't miss the next edition of Where You At? Only on Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Now let's send it over to Mike Tirico and John Gruden.
Thank you, Chris. The story here in New Orleans, 2 desperate teams, Philadelphia and the Saints. Let's start with the Eagles, and they stay with Michael Vick. They're 3-4, desperate need of a win on the road.
I agree. Michael Vick is going to have a lot to do, I think, with the Eagles turning it around and winning. He needs some support, though. They got to protect them better. They've got to run the ball better, and their defense needs to generate some turnovers, but Vick's the solution.
We know the disappointing story with the Saints. Drew Brees and company 0-4, won their next 2. A very uncharacteristic, poor offensive performance in Denver last week.
1 for 12 on 3rd down, and Von Miller and Doomerville can do that to you with their pass rush, but the Saints have to find some balance. They don't run the ball very well, and they have really struggled, to say the least, on defense. They got to do it as a team.
Brees, Vick, desperation in the Dome. Eagles Saints, we'll see you Monday night, 8:30 Eastern from New Orleans.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Jesse, your prime-time performers.
Big shout-out today to Tennessee quarterback Tyler Bray. Was almost benched after throwing 8 interceptions in his first 4 conference games, but he breaks Peyton Manning's single-game record with 530 passing yards today against Troy.
Cooler temperatures on the way, only temporarily, after the game.
This is the Aston Martin DB5 that Daniel Craig will drive in Skyfall. Always an iconic image in Bond films, just like these memorable plays.
Look out! He can move!
Welcome back to Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows 8. 31-17, unbeaten Kansas State, ranked number 2, with a comfortable lead for the moment against a high-powered Cowboy team. As we welcome you back, I'm Brent Musburger with Kirk Herbstreit, and uphill, though, when you got a freshman quarterback here in this setting.
You knew coming in it would be tough for Oklahoma State with the young quarterback, and really he played well early until the latter part of the first half when he didn't see Chapman sitting back in coverage. I think he was anticipating him sinking back. Chapman just stepped right in front of his intended receiver. That led to, of course, a pick 6, and then little we couldn't tell if Zimmerman made the catch, but eventually it was Chapman with his 2nd interception. So now we see how Wes Lunt will perform. But when you look at those 2 turnovers that led to points, or 3 turnovers they've been able to create, 2 of which led to touchdowns. They've also had a kickoff return for a touchdown. I mean, they're getting Oklahoma State in the areas that Bill Snyder's teams typically get after opponents.
So Oklahoma State will be the beneficiary of this penalty as the ball goes out of bounds. We take a look at the Pacific Life game summary between a senior quarterback from Kansas State and the freshman at Oklahoma State, and the senior, as you might expect, has not made the big mistake.
No, he's been able to avoid the mistakes, and he's at this point just kind of managing this offense. And eventually the thing about Colin Klein is he'll hit a big play, and he can, and when it happens fast. And up to this point, Oklahoma State's done a pretty good job of controlling him and that big play ability.
First down and 10. The penalty brings the ball to the 35-yard line of Oklahoma State. They'll start it off with a Randall run trying to get to the left edge. Down at the 35, we check in down below with Heather.
Brent, I was able to catch up with Mike Gundy, and he talked about the need to tackle better, especially on special teams, and limit the turnovers. And when I talked to him about his quarterback, Wes Lunt, he said, unfortunately, you can't fast forward a freshman. I think he has played just average. I asked him to settle down here in the second half.
On second down, Lunt in trouble, drops off the screen to Randall, though, and Randall battles for the first down, I believe. They're going to give him the spot. Yes, indeed. I'll tell you, Lunt showed some courage, Herbie, and he took a hit on that.
He sure did.
His pressure was coming from Meshach Williams.
Meshach Williams went right by Koenig, and he got that ball off just in time, and he setting up that screen. It's a good time to be able to get that ball off, but the key is recognizing that pressure and still keeping that moxie and delivering the football.
Williams on the sideline right now. He's had a good year. Play action, work the middle now, and wide open to the 26-yard line is Blake Webb, and Blake is another of these talented freshmen.
Watch the patience here by Lunt. The receiver has to come all the way across, and he finds the window on the other side of Arthur Brown. Good job of sitting in there, letting that play develop by Wes Lunt.
27-yard gain. Ball across the 30 now. Randall goes back into the backfield with Lunt. Cowboys are going to keep it up in the air. Middle's open, and he threw an interception. He overthrew his receiver, and it is picked off at the 5 by Nigel Malone. And that is the 3rd interception thrown by the freshman.
And he locked in that time to his receiver, Blake Jackson. And this is part of his growth as a young quarterback. There isn't a receiver off to the left. Nothing to hold that defensive back. He has nothing other than to just look into the eyes of the quarterback. And that made it very easy for a senior corner, Malone. Nobody's to threaten him in front or behind. He reads the quarterback's eyes, and it leads him right to the football.
Took a blow, too, as he delivered that pass. You can see him being tended to over there. Pease has checked in as the running back. Klein keeps it, and Klein is going to be thrown down. Klein has carried the ball 14 times here tonight. Elkins makes the stop on him. So he's thrown 19 passes, and he's run 14 times from scrimmage. So the one thing that you wonder about with him, and I see him kind of holding that right hand in the wrist area there, is really the punishment he takes with all the carries he has during the course of a game and a season.
Over 300 carries last year. He's almost like RoboCop. I mean, he just does not stop. He just keeps coming no matter how many hits he takes.
2nd and 7. This time he'll hand off to Pease, and Pease will be short of the first down as Gary comes up with a stop. And take a look at the wrist on this particular play. This was just the previous play.
You see the defender had a hold of his hand and twisted it back. Right away he grabbed a hold of that right wrist and his throwing arm.
So we'll keep an eye on that now.
They will have to carry him off of the football field.
3rd down and 4.
With that hard snap count, Oklahoma State tipping their hand with their coverage. Klein makes the adjustment.
Blitz throws for a first down to Thompson, and Thompson's to the 24-yard line. He picked up the blitz beautifully and threw right to the spot that he should.
And he recognized the blitz, and he threw right into the blitz. Ball's underthrown a bit. A good adjustment by Tremaine Thompson. But the reason he gave that hard count, and he's been doing that a lot tonight, and he's been doing it a lot this year, is he gets the defense just to cheat a little bit, especially on 3rd down, to show where the pressure might be coming from.
Play action. Drop it off now to Tannehill. And another first in. And Tannehill, who's a senior from Overland Park, Kansas, he delivers some punishment at the end of this run.
Well, he sure does, Brent, and he comes off and he gets away from the man-to-man pressure from Shamil Gary. I think this is another receiver. We talk a lot about Lockett and Thompson and Harper, but I think the development of Tannehill as a receiver, and not just a big physical blocking tight end, is another weapon that Colin Klein can take advantage of.
Flea flicker. Here's Klein. And it is complete to Harper. Harper still going. And he is finally out of bounds around the 21-yard line. Low hanging on. What a great run after the catch by Chris Harper here.
They're trying to get Brown out of position to come up and try to stop Pease. And I think he had an option there to go to the post for the touchdown, but Brown actually stays back on him, so he just takes it to the outside. And then how about how physical a receiver he is? 235 pounds at 6'1".
41-yard gain. Puts the ball right there on the edge of the red zone for Colin Klein. It has been a big play night here. Running to the left, looking daylight, got it. 9 yards on the run as he comes over to the left side, and Lowe again forced to make the tackle.
And he had a shovel pass option with 8. See 8 in front of him? There's a lot of different options that he has there. The shuffle pass with Pease following him underneath. He could maybe throw it downfield, or he can keep it himself. Because he was able to get to the edge of that defense, he decided to keep it himself. But eventually, he could dump it underneath there to the shovel pass to Angelo Pease.
Opening drive of the second half. And Kansas State has punched it down to the 11-yard line. 2nd down and 1. 3 wide outs. Tannehill, the tight end, to the right. Klein takes a step, got the first down, turns it at the 5, dives toward that pylon. Touchdown, Kansas State. That's his 17th rush touchdown of the year, if this one holds up.
Castleman's right there to make a play. The poor fella on his knees trying to get a hand on him.
Walks in, right?
Yeah, I don't know if the ball was in his left arm. I don't know if it crossed the plane. We'll have to see. Gilbert doing everything he can to be able to try to stop it there.
And it has been stopped. Instant replay's been busy. They are going to take a look at this.
Was a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
Earlier, if you were not with us in the first half, I think instant replay had one of its toughest calls of the year. It was an interception by Kansas State. And what made it very complicated was that a second Kansas State defensive back went up to take it away. Now, this is what they're looking at on this one upstairs. He appears to step inside the pylon, but Herbie's point is, what about the football? Because it is very close, tucked under the left arm as he steps toward the pylon. Very difficult to tell, of course, from that. Indisputable would be the only evidence that would turn it over.
Sure. Obviously, he hits the pylon.
He hits the pylon. The other foot was completely on the inside of it as he came across.
They want to see that football break the plane before you step out of bounds. Brent, look at down here at these.
After further review, when the runner's foot hit the pylon, the ball was short of the goal line by a foot. It's first down.
I think it's a good call, Herbie, and you saw it right away. You said there was a question about the football in relationship. There was no question he got inside the pylon, and the other foot did hit it. And but there was always a question about where the football was.
Yeah, that's the thing you always have to remember on those plays at the goal line when they get pushed out of bounds is where is the football. It's not his foot touching the pylon, but where the ball is.
But it's first and goal.
Yeah, inevitable.
And checks back. He's got his fullback. He's got Pease as a tailback. And he keeps it himself and dashes straight ahead. No doubt about this one. So that is his 17th rush touchdown this season. Colin Klein, the Heisman Trophy winner, is just having a remarkable season. He has not thrown a touchdown pass here tonight.
Not quite the winner just yet. You're doing a little foreshadowing there. He's a front runner, that's for sure. Feels like he's the winner. He's so far out in front.
Yeah, well, that's
you, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I got you, Vince.
There we go.
I mean, look at
anything. Look at all the hardware. I saw the hardware.
That's right.
What could be wrong
Give it
with
to the
that?
lad, right?
Kansas State leading Oklahoma State 38-17 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the BCS championship, and Kansas State very much in contention.
Oklahoma State now has 4 turnovers on the night, and 3 of those have resulted in touchdowns. Combine that kickoff return by Lockett for a touchdown now.
From the 6-yard line, Gilbert. And he's down to 21. You know, Wes Lunt appeared shaken up. Heather, what's the report down on the sideline about the freshman quarterback?
Well, Brent, Wes Lunt remains seated on the training table with the medical staff. I overheard him telling them that he felt like he was going to throw up. Head athletic trainer Kevin Blaskey told me he did get hit hard in the stomach with a helmet. Their plan is to watch him for a bit before they decide whether or not he can go back in. Still suffering from nausea. In the meantime, junior Clint Shelf in his place. The entire offense just huddled around him, giving him lots of props, trying to give the junior some confidence.
Yeah, that was Meshach Williams, and that he'd give you a headache and a stomachache. So here comes Shelf. Clint Shelf is a junior from Enid, Oklahoma, and he will now run this Oklahoma State offense. Tough spot now, back in the gun, complete in underneath with his first pass to the 40 is Blake Webb, and Blake Webb from the Woodlands in Texas, a freshman. That's his second catch of the night.
I did talk to Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, on the field before the game and asked him if Lunt struggles and you go to Shelf, what can he do? He goes, you know what? He's just a steady backup. J.W. Walsh, the other freshman, is out. So Shelf comes in. He's very experienced with the offense.
Shelf trying to light a fire. Strikes to Austin Hayes, and so he's gone freshman to freshman. Webb and then Hayes back-to-back. Childs makes the play defensively.
That's the thing about this offense. Not only losing Justin Blackman, but this year Tracy Moore and Isaiah Anderson, they're 2 senior receivers down, so they've relied not just on freshman quarterback, but a lot of freshmen out at wide receiver.
Stewart better get ready if he starts looking at one of the inside men. Now he comes deep down the middle, complete to the 30-yard line. So that is Charlie Moore, and quickly 3 in a row, and Clint Shelf picks up another 23 yards with this pass.
2 receivers from the right will come over to the left. The safety Zimmerman bites on the front receiver and open it up behind that, and another good throw by Shelf here. That's 3 in a row.
He's now 7 of 11 for the season. This is his 12th. Oh, that was almost picked. Chapman looking for number 3. He'll be ball hawking now. He wants the hat trick, that young man.
You know, Chapman has replaced David Garrett, a veteran last year and a leader of the defense, and he's had a great year. You're right, Brent. I think he was sniffing that. He read the route from Charlie Moore, almost jumped in front of that, and it would have been not only his 3rd pick, but his 2nd pick 6.
2nd and 10. Wildcat show blitz trying to come there, and they bring Randall down for a loss. That was Childs, the linebacker.
Terrell Childs has been active, the senior backup behind Justin Tuggle, playing a lot more tonight because of Trey Walker being out. And you could see he was coming. It was just a matter of whether or not the back was going to be able to get up underneath him. He comes again, same spot.
Shelf under pressure, gets it off high, and a great leaping grab over there on the far side by Charlie Moore. What a fine catch that was, and the 2 are wrapped up together over there. Charlie Moore went airborne against Chapman.
That was impressive.
Chapman never gives up on a football, even if it's his teammate. He wants that ball. What a ball hawk.
Sitting in there on 3rd and long. Keep in mind, Shelf's been sitting on the sideline cold all night. He comes in this series, and he gives his receiver a chance. Outstanding effort by Moore.
Big win here now, 4th and 1. They've got Randall. They check back over to the sideline, and a penalty flag. Is this going to be 4th and 6?
A false start by number 87 of the offense.
That's a killer.
5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
So Tracy Moore Remember now, that was Dickerson who's wearing 87 because Tracy Moore is out. So they were using Dickerson, and he's eligible wearing that number tonight. So that is Dickerson who was guilty and not Tracy Moore. So this is a 42-yard field goal attempt by Quinn Sharp. NFL scouts are paying attention. Like a chip shot from him.
Unbelievable the way he can kick and also punt. You don't see guys who are as good as he is at both.
And yeah, exactly. He's aces in both.
He'll be, as you say, the next level.
I want to be his ace.
A winter wonderland doesn't just happen. It takes some doing, some coordinating, and a trip to the one place with the new ideas that help us pull it all together. From the things that hang and shine to the things that sparkle and jingle. All while saving the things that go in our wallet. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Trade in any light string and get up to $5 off the latest holiday LEDs.
Ford has the freshest lineup in America, so we're at the mall celebrating. Have you seen the new Focus?
I walked in and it was just like, wow.
Seriously fun to drive. 40 miles a gallon on the highway.
40 miles a gallon?
Sync technology, 10,000 separate commands, so you can boss it around, Sasha, to your heart's content.
Are these made here?
Right here in the store. Yeah, a small group of elves come in.
Get a Focus with up to $2,500 cash back plus sync and sound at no extra charge during the Ford year-end celebration.
Cheers. It's a year-end celebration.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Brought to you by Ford and the Go Further with Ford Night. Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life. The power to help you succeed. And Avis.
Well, Kansas State's new basketball coach, Bruce Weber, was at Illinois, went to the championship game. He's a fan of college football, down on the sideline. They have an exhibition game tomorrow against Emporia State, and then their season opener Friday, November 9th against North Dakota. Hoops time, Herbie. Hoops.
Cannot wait. I love college hoops.
I know you do.
Not an NBA guy. I'll be all over the college
There's
game.
a ground ball scooped up at the 30-yard line, and so Kansas State will have it at the 40, and that was Trujillo. And there's a reminder about Monday night. Eagles and the Saints. What's wrong with Michael Vick? Is he going to straighten things out? And Drew Brees and the Saints have been struggling. And don't forget, at halftime, the interview with the two presidential candidates, President Barack Obama and Republican candidate Mitt Romney. That'll be at halftime. So it is first down and 10. And Daniel Sams, I believe, has checked in. Yes, he has, as the quarterback. So enough abuse for Colin Klein tonight, who carried the ball 17 times. And he threw 22 times. So Colin Klein, the perceived front runner for the Heisman Trophy.
Now, we showed that shot of his wrist being pulled back.
Oh, yes.
You know, up 18. You wonder how much that right wrist might be bothering him. Sams is a terrific athlete. He can run the football. He can run that option game that Bill Snyder loves so much.
He's from Louisiana, Slidell, Louisiana. Redshirt freshman, 6'2", 204. Number 4, Daniel Sams, now quarterbacking the unbeaten Wildcats. And I can see some of that athletic ability right there. Stopped by Elkins.
It's a different kind of option look with Sams in there, but
I don't see anybody tending to those wrists right now. Like you said, you'd have to carry him off the field.
Yeah, let's hope he's okay. He's smiling down there.
And that is his brother, by the way, Kyle Klein, number 81, converted defensive end to wide receiver. And he, too, of course, played at Loveland High School in Colorado. Kyle is a redshirt freshman, 6'3", 210. So he's over there. So we've got both starting quarterbacks on the sideline now as Lunt.
Kansas State calls their first timeout of the half. Media timeout.
So Lunt is leaving the field to go back to the Oklahoma State locker room, and you're watching ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC. Disney ABC Television Group has designated Monday, November 5th as a day of giving across its network and syndicated programming, encouraging tens of millions of viewers to help those impacted by Hurricane Sandy. ESPN is proud to join ABC to help raise donations for this cause. To donate, text ABC to 90999 to give $10 or go to redcross.org/ABC. 3rd down and 3 coming up here for Kansas State. The Wildcats lead it. It appears as though they're going to stay undefeated. Their backup quarterback is on the field right now. Daniel Sams has replaced Colin Klein. And there is Colin with his younger brother. Both are still on the sideline. Talking about younger brothers, you might remember the name Rob Gronkowski, pretty good football player, folks, with the New England Patriots. Well, there is the youngest Gronkowski, okay? That's right. He's a redshirt freshman. They're hoping to redshirt him here at Kansas State. He has a tremendous upside. In fact, if you ask Rob, he will tell you he's the best Gronkowski in the whole family. So here he is in Manhattan, Kansas. And now Oklahoma State with its backup quarterback going to get the ball back. Going to be down inside the 5-yard line. Down at the 1-yard line beautifully.
And Colin Klein he's out of the game for now, but he's had a game that started a little bit slow, then he found his way. He started to make some plays with his feet, got him settled in, and this was, I think, a turning point in the football game. A double move where he found his receiver downfield, been able to do a lot of different things, and this is how they attack. They've had an advantage of getting some special teams breaks. They've gotten the 4 turnovers, and Colin Klein and the Wildcats offense able to take advantage of the opportunities that they've had.
38-20. Chelf back in the end zone. Wildcats show pressure. Brown can't get inside, and it's a short completion, and that is to Hayes, the freshman. Caught a long touchdown pass in the first half. 38-20 is our score here. Second down, they hand it off with the running game to the 6-yard line. Let's check in Heather on the report about Wes Lunt. Heather?
Well, guys, you saw before the break that Wes Lunt went into the locker room. He's gone in for more in-depth concussion testing. As I told you before, he was nauseous. I've also been told he's foggy, glassy-eyed, and they have confirmed he will not return to this game.
So it's up to Chelfair, and he's got a 3rd and 5. Must get the ball out to the 11-yard line. They're going to try it with the draw play, and Randall can't get there. Tripped up by Arthur Brown, the outstanding linebacker, number 4 from Wichita.
And he was actually held on the play, and he still got by Brandon Webb, the left guard. Watch 51 wrap up hold on to him. Brown gets in there, and there's our guy, Jarrell Childs, who's been really active tonight. Good instincts there and a good job of recognizing that draw on 3rd down.
Trips up his good buddy. They were teammates on a high school relay team in Wichita. So Oklahoma State will punt it away, and this is going to give Kansas State outstanding field position. And let us check in with Robert Flores in the studio.
Hey, Brent, AT&T All-America Player of the Week nominee, Oregon running back Kenyon Barner, over 300 yards on the ground. This is his 5th touchdown, as Oregon has scored 62 points, the most ever given up by any USC team in their history. You can text VOTE to 34763. Results revealed Thursday on ESPN.
Robert, the score of that game is 62-45, and would you believe that Matt Barkley is threatening on the final 5 seconds of that game out in the Los Angeles Coliseum? 1st down and 10 for Toms now. Hands off to Hubert, and he's to the 35-yard line. And, folks, the Trojans have just scored. Matt Barkley has just chucked one in. It's going to be 62-52, I would guess, if the extra point is good, something like that.
And we've been talking all year about how much the Oregon defense has improved. And Matt Barkley and SC are good, but that's probably close to 600 yards of offense for SC against Oregon's defense.
So the Ducks are going to stay undefeated. Notre Dame survived a triple overtime to stay undefeated. Kansas State is in command here, and Alabama leads LSU 14-3. So the Big
10.
Four, did they score?
Yeah.
LSU finally punched it. That's the first touchdown they've scored in over a dozen quarters.
Here. 14-10.
Well, take a look at the big picture. Isn't that the big picture?
14-10.
It doesn't get any bigger than that.
LSU just scored, so it's 14-10.
14-10. Okay. And here it is, 38-20. Third down and 3 now for Daniel Sams. Sams has the first down and spins across the 25-yard line.
Different feel in this option attack when Sams gets in here versus Colin Klein. Klein is patient. He kind of slithers his way through the defense. And Sams comes in here and looks more like a tailback running this option attack. 6'2", 211, and can really shake you when he gets you out in space. Can throw it well enough, just enough to keep you honest. And the safeties now, you can see they're all down. They got 9 guys up close to the line of scrimmage.
Here comes Hubert. Picks his way behind the left side of the offensive line. Lucas White here.
And this is the month where everybody starts to compare and contrast these teams that are up near the top. And you've got Alabama playing LSU. Did you see Notre Dame against Pitt? What about Oregon? We thought their defense was good. How about Kansas State against Oklahoma State? Everybody's going to start to really have strong opinions based on games from today, but I just encourage everybody to look at the entire body of work and watch these teams all year.
Sams takes it away. In trouble. And picks up about a yard before he got bent up. Castleman, Bassett were there.
He is a tough guy, and we said, I think Oklahoma State, they're just not only out here competing, down 18, they're trying to do what they can to get Sams into some obvious passing situations.
So we'll take a break here. Kansas State is up 18 in Mr. Herbstreit. LSU has just recovered an onside kick. That's my update. This presentation is Saturday Night Football presented by Windows 8. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
So we welcome you back. It'll be 3rd down and 6 coming up. Daniel Sams has replaced Colin Klein. Colin over on the sideline without his helmet. So it appears that he will not be back in this game. Although Mr. Herbstreit, if Oklahoma State would have closed to about 10 or so, do you think he'd be back?
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't know if he's down there in a precautionary measure or they're just resting him.
To the end zone, deflected, incomplete. Lowe, I believe, got a hand on that, working in the end zone. Lowe is a junior safety. Daytwan, I think he might have got a hand on it.
And he had one-on-one coverage. He's got to throw this ball to the corner. It gives him a little shake and to the outside, but the ball's thrown back to the inside, and it makes it pretty easy for Lowe to come over and knock the ball away. But when you have one-on-one coverage, you can see Harper's frustrated because he beat Brown to the corner, but the ball's thrown inside, and that's not where it needs to be. But that's part of being a freshman.
37-yarder here by Cantelli. Long enough. And it's good. Anthony Cantelli tacks on another 3 points. 41-20, unbeaten Kansas State.
Let's take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. And Kansas State played Kansas State football. They were able to create 4 turnovers so far on the night, turned 3 of those into touchdowns. The other thing is, it was kind of typical Colin Klein. He's settled into this game, found some receivers open, had 17 carries on the night, got this one into the end zone for a touchdown, and now they've taken his helmet away. The equipment man, Heather Cox, telling us literally has taken his helmet away and put it away for the evening with a 21-point lead.
Fielded on the 1-yard line by Justin Gilbert. And Gilbert is out to the 20-yard line. Another reminder that NASCAR's chase down to 3 races. Jimmy Johnson has taken the lead. They'll go to the Lone Star State. 3 races remain. History is made. A championship won. NASCAR Chase Sprint Cup Series at Texas, 2 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. First down and 10 now. Clint Shelf checks in. I want to keep Mr. Herbstreit up to date as best I can. And I will right after this play. First down and 10. Shelf working the sideline, goes incomplete, and Charlie Moore had a crack at it, Herbie, and couldn't come up with it. But you know, the big picture, Alabama leading LSU 14-10. That onside kick I told you about was called back, yes, and Bama drove to the 10, fumbled and turned it over, and LSU now coming out. They're just about getting into the 4th quarter of that one. I know you're very interested in that scene.
Yeah. See if it'd be interesting if LSU pulled off that upset. Kansas State sitting here at 2. Could we be watching the #1 team in the country playing tonight?
What a very good question. Because there's a penalty flag.
Number 58 of the offense. The 5-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
Well, let us check in with Robert Flores for an update, and maybe he'll shed some light on the events. Robert?
All right, Brent, here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now, brought to you by HP. Alabama looking to extend their lead deep inside Tiger territory, but the freshman T.J. Yeldon fumbled the ball. Now LSU is driving, and they're in Bama territory.
All right, and here the backup quarterback, Clint Shelf, firing another completion. You know, Herbie, the little rascal's come in and thrown the ball pretty well.
He really has. I've been impressed with his composure, and we watched a true freshman, Lunt, make some mistakes, and Shelf, who's been sitting around most of the night, at least has some experience. He was the backup last year to Brandon Wheaton and had a chance to sit in those meetings and watch Brandon and learn from Brandon, and I think he has a little bit more poise in this kind of environment.
Working on the slant, and it's a beautiful pitch that time, and that was Jackson again. He goes back to Blake Jackson.
So much of this offense is just about the relationship between a quarterback and his wide receivers. Mike Gundy wants his quarterback to make quick decisions and get the ball out of his hands, and that's what we've seen from Shelf.
First down and 10. Shelf going downfield, got a man open. And out of bounds at the 25-yard line is Charlie Moore. And so now the Cowboys are threatening.
And he's now 8 of 10. And that time we did not see Chapman get much of a bump there. Moore just got behind him. And when you're in that coverage, the corner's got to at least get his hands on the receiver to slow him down.
4 wide receivers. Shelf steps off to the left, looking for the end zone. Couldn't get a man open, so he takes off. And he crosses the 15-yard line for a first down. Childs forced to make the stop, but
really
good judgment. His receivers recovered in the end zone.
Really nice job. Now we'll see if he can finish this drive off. This is an area that's been tough for Oklahoma State, but was 5 plays, 67 yards in a minute 25. He's leading them right down the field.
Working with 4 wide receivers. Randall in the backfield. He slips out, fire high, caught in the back of the end zone for a touchdown by Charlie Moore. So what a great drive here by Clint Shelf and Oklahoma State. That was beautifully orchestrated.
And give the offensive line some credit as well for being able to hold up against pressure. He gets his foot down, that right foot down, that's a touchdown. But the 5 guys up front on that series built a wall there and gave him plenty of time. That route took some time for Moore to work his way to the middle of the field.
So Quint Sharp tacks on the extra point. We take another look at this throw. He's broken away from Chapman. Touchdown, Cowboys. Might start looking for Collins' helmet here soon.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Windows 8, Cadillac, the standard of the world, and UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you.
So we are back. The crowd's fired up. You look at that score, and you think Kansas State's got it in hand, and it's one defensive stop by Okie State and a quick touchdown. And folks, the noose is tightened. That's a misleading 41-27 there's not as much daylight as you'd think.
And the way Chelf played on that last series, 6 plays, 80 yards, minute 44, touchdown.
Thompson driven back now to the 7-yard line. Looking for an alley. He's got it. Thompson breaks free. Needs a block. Forced out of bounds at the 33-yard line. What a great return.
And this time Sharp, the kicker, who ran away from the coverage. There he is. There's a good look at him. He actually is going to get involved. He's running away from it, but he forces him back into the boundary. Attaboy, Sharp. Way to take a hit for the team. Atta baby. Way to save that touchdown.
Yeah, after you buried him in the first half.
Yeah, we teased him a little earlier. We got to come back.
Yeah, you're making
circle.
up to him now.
That's right.
Huh?
Look at the effort. He's losing his helmet.
Where did it go?
The hair's
Herbie's
flying
got
everywhere.
On the defensive team now. First down and 10 after that 60-yard return. Here we go now.
I give him some love.
And this Sams keeps it. Spins for a couple of yards, and it's going to be second down. Remember now, Oklahoma State needs just a stop because here is that touchdown by the Cowboys moments ago.
Yeah, a little inside move by Blake Jackson will actually occupy Milo, and then here is the touchdown behind it. Really good job of this quarterback, actually makes the safety bite on that move, and then it opens it up behind it. Charlie Moore has had a great night tonight for this Oklahoma State offense, but cannot say enough about Clint Chelf and the job of stepping in. 9 for 11 now for 136 yards, stepping in for Wes Lunt.
Second down and 10 for Sams and the offense. Under pressure, fires beautifully to Lockett, out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
Where teams' dreams come to die.
Told you, my friend. Give him an update, Herbie. It's your turn. Update him.
Well, Zach Mettenberger has just thrown a touchdown pass.
To do what?
To take the lead.
There you go, my
for
friend.
LSU. So there are a few Kansas State fans right now watching.
After all that cheerleading you did for the Crimson Tide on game day today, that was very tough for you to say.
I didn't put an elephant on my head.
We know who did, though. Third down now.
The whole world.
Sams. Oh, what a great tackle on Tannehill by Broderick Brown.
Came off of his receiver, and he is short of the first down. This will bring up a 4th down for Sams. Nice play here by the veteran Brown, coming up on the big tight end Tannehill. And Bill Snyder's got an interesting decision here because, well, you're going to bring out the kicker to try to extend this lead, get off of this 14-point lead and try to make it a 3-possession game.
Absolutely. Remember now, he doesn't know, nor does he want to know. But Alabama could be in trouble. And that means that the battle for number 1 is in play here tonight. If LSU's lead holds up, this is a 40-yarder by Cantelli.
He's still trying to reset the play clock.
Kansas State substituted late, and Oklahoma State did not have time to match up. 4th down.
It's a big kick.
A 40-yarder for Cantelli. Door, the punter, puts it down. Looks good. He's got it. And it's 44-27. Now remember, hang on, all you Wildcat fans. You could indeed be number 1 by tomorrow night. There's the college football bus, and Mr. Herbstreit, it is standing room only on this bus to Kansas City tonight.
It's a
right
long
after
haul,
the
right?
game. We may be back here on December 1st.
We could be.
I'm going to tell you, Texas in here playing Kansas. If Kansas State is sitting 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How about Mac Brown and the Horns with a huge win today?
Yeah,
I love it.
That was big. Yes, it was. Well, we enjoyed watching. Boy, I tell you, that Notre Dame game had us on the edge of our seats today. Paul Chris doing a great job in there, and heartbreaking loss for him. It'll come on to 35. Let's go to Robert Flores. Robert, update everybody on the LSU score, my friend.
All right, Brent, you guys referenced it. LSU on top of Alabama. Zach Mettenberg to Jarvis Landry. That's a touchdown. LSU turning a T.J. Yeldon fumble into points, and they lead by 3. Hey, guys, kind of pump the brakes on the updates. You're stealing my thunder.
Robert, I promise that the next time Bama or LSU scores, I'll let you go first. But I'm not going to give you a whole lot of lead time, my friend. First down and 10 now. There are the Cowboys trying to battle back here with 10:47 left. Complete to Stewart for that 40-yard line, and he just threw it in there. Shelf has really sparked this offense.
And the timing between Shelf and his receivers, they're finally getting the ball here to Josh Stewart. We've been seeing a lot of Charlie Moore. We've seen a lot of Blake Jackson. This time Stewart gets downfield. Usually a guy in space. This time he gets downfield vertically.
27 more yards. We've had one big play after another here. Now Shelf forced on the move. He's going to take off. And he's close to that 30-yard line, and that first down marker just across it. Evans making another stop. The young man from Enid High School, Oklahoma.
Working very well, not just with his receivers, but with the offensive line. When things are covered downfield, he buys just enough time, and he's been able to escape a couple times tonight for yards.
Second down and 2 now for Shelf and the Cowboy offense. Backing it up, fires for that first down. And across the 25-yard line, that was Hayes making another play, and Malone with the stop for Kansas State.
The biggest difference you're seeing right now with Shelf, because of his experience, is how quick he's making decisions. Childs brought the blitz off the edge. It was one-on-one to the boundary, and he gets it out of his hands quickly for an easy first down.
Jeremy Smith now checks in as a running back for the Cowboys. And they flare him out. Offensive line holds, and a strike for a 1st and 10 right at the 10-yard line. And that was Charlie Moore again, who caught that last touchdown pass.
They are stretching Kansas State's defense from sideline to sideline, so horizontally, and then it's creating the seams vertically. And Shelf right now is in a zone, recognizing coverage and getting the ball out of his hands.
One of the best offenses in college football. Oklahoma State on the move again, trying to battle from behind, having lost their starting quarterback. Incomplete and juggled out of bounds on that sideline by Jackson.
This is where they really miss that Justin Blackman, the difference maker down in the red zone. Now, they were able to hit the touchdown to Charlie Moore in that last series. They're going to have to find somebody for Mike Gundy here to be able to slip behind a safety or a linebacker. It's tough out on the edge against the defense down in this area.
Second down and 10. Throws the corner in, incomplete. Stewart was the intended target. Zimmerman, the safety, was giving chase to him.
The first times that we've seen Clint Shelf, because of pressure, not get his feet settled underneath him before he threw. That time he felt pressure from his right, and he started to move to his left, and he tried to throw it at the same time. It affected his, not only the velocity, but also, more importantly, the accuracy. He had one-on-one coverage there against Zimmerman, the safety.
Third down and 10. Crowd alive in Manhattan. Shelf almost intercepted. Threw it into the hands of Milo, and he couldn't hang on. Milo had a pretty easy shot at an interception here, Herbie.
This time they brought the house. They brought one more than the offensive line could pick up, and Shelf makes his first mental mistake. See, Tuggle gets in there free. He threw that ball before Randall, the running back who was out at receiver, even turned his head.
Sharp will attempt to get that field goal back. It's a 28-yarder. 4 drives by Shelf. 2 field goals, a touchdown, and 1 punt. The lead is back to 14. Well, tomorrow, NFL Countdown, Sunday at 10 a.m. on ESPN. Chris and the gang will run down all the stories. Then at 11 on ESPN2, our buddy Robert Flores will be along with Matthew Berry, Tim Hasselbeck. They got all the fantasy information. I don't know why Robert Flores wants to update everything. He's working on his fantasy stats for the show tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Trying to juggle a few things there.
All right, here we go now, Herbie. Oklahoma State gets that ball back quickly and strikes, and it's game on here in the Little Apple.
A little under 9 minutes to go. Bill Young's defense has got to make a stop or try to get a turnover and get the ball back.
Deep in the end zone. This will come out to 25. We've talked about the 4 unbeatens. I want to run down the schedules here that they have in front of them. And Alabama has Texas A&M, West Carolina, and Auburn if they get past LSU tonight. Herbie, what about the other 3?
You look at the rest of the way to go for Kansas State on the road. TCU had a big win. Texas all of a sudden trending back up. Notre Dame on the road at Boston College next week, and out at USC, which is always a challenge in a rivalry game. And you got Oregon. The way they look today, it's hard to imagine Cal, Stanford, or even Oregon State and Corvallis slowing down that Ducks offense.
Angelo Peace comes in as the running back. Daniel Sams has replaced Colin Klein. Play action by Sams. Fires complete to Lockett, and Lockett dives for that first down mark. He's got it.
Good call. Great call here by Bill Snyder. They've been running pretty much every snap with Sams in the game. And this defense just assuming that with Sams in, that Bill Snyder's looking to run option football. And he makes a nice throw, and the best thing about it is he got the ball thrown in a hurry out to Lockett.
First down and 10 for Sams. 8:25. The clock critical now to the Cowboys. He follows Pease. He'll step out of bounds at about the 44-yard line.
Let's try to stay in bounds, work clock. All the little things, right, that add up for Bill Snyder. He's got great suddenness, great quickness when he decides to keep the football.
Second down and 2 coming up. First down, great throw on that to the tight end. Tannehill broke wide open on that play, and the Cowboys did not account for him.
And the linebacker is actually coming on a blitz. It opened it up very nicely. See the blitz right there from Lewis, and it made it pretty easy for Sams to just like little hunt pass right over the top of that linebacker. There's nobody there.
And Tannehill goes down, and he is shaken up on this play. He's down on the 35-yard line, being tended to as he hit on his head on the helmet. So the medical staff and the head coach are both out there with Tannehill right now, and that's a very good sign. He's being helped out. You know, I want to talk a little bit about the quarterback, Daniel Sams. He's a young man who was recruited out of high school down in Louisiana, and he was named to the Large Schools New Orleans All-Metro football team. And the one thing that Bill Snyder has done with this program through the years, he's able to get in on blue-chip high school players. That wasn't the case when he first took over here. It was he had to do a patchwork, and kids who transferred, JC kids, and now here comes the Wildcat attack. And Pease sprints over to the left. Look at Dayline going to come back to the right now. Pease looking to beat one man. What a fine run by Pease that time. Broderick Brown, I probably saved the touchdown with that.
He probably did. Brandon, Wildcat, it's a tailback now, and you can see those tailback moves. Brown very, very smart to stay at home. If he didn't stay at home and he started to run to that football, there's nobody left in the backside, and that's a touchdown.
They stay with Pease and the Wildcat. And Pease breaks for another 1st and 10. Down by the 15-yard line to the red zone. Now Sams, the quarterback, is going to check back in for Coach Snyder.
Watch the blocks up front. Sustaining their blocks, locking on to their linebackers, getting up to that second level. Combination blocks up front, then they work up to Lewis, Levy, and Elkins, the linebackers. Great job, again, by this offensive line from Kansas State.
They're going to stay in that formation, and they're going to flank Sams out. He goes to the right side as a split in. The quarterback is at the top of your screen. Pease keeps it, still running, coming over to the left. Cuts back into traffic, and he's down at the 12-yard line where it'll be second down, and that's the fine linebacker Elkins making another stop for the Cowboys.
Collin Klein gets all the recognition for this team, but the reason they're different this year is because of guys like Angelo Pease, John Hubert. We've seen the athletic ability of the freshman Daniel Sams, the receivers Chris Harper, Tyler Lockett, Tremaine Thompson. This is not a one-man show for this Kansas State offense.
Sams now back as the quarterback, and they'll show that pistol look. He has Pease right behind him on this second down. The fullback Wilson offset to the right. Sams keeps it. Complete. What a beautiful completion, just short of the first down. Tannehill, who was shaken up, back in, made that catch. And I mean, it was a small target, and Sams hit it.
You showed the basketball arena a little earlier, the practice facility. Look, he just kind of boxes him out, just kind of walls him off with his body. And that was a tight target, not a whole lot of room, but pretty good concentration and focus by Tannehill.
Third down and 1. Sams will follow Pease, and he's hit in the backfield for a loss. Number 45, Levy, the fine middle linebacker, the Mike linebacker there, made the stop.
He finally got penetration. It's been tough to do for Oklahoma State. I mean, you know it's coming. They haven't been able to get through that wall up front. That time they did.
So trotting back onto the field is Anthony Cantelli, the senior kicker from Wichita. 24-yard attempt. Pulled this one badly to the left and missed it. Well, we've got 4 minutes. So now the Cowboys need a quick drive, onside kick, and who knows what's going to happen. Colin might start looking for his helmet here pretty soon. They might. Where'd that rascal, where'd that equipment manager hide that? I'm going to walk over here and see. Does somebody else's helmet fit me?
You never know.
Where's it?
The way Clint Shelf has been throwing the football. If they're going to try to make it interesting, they better score in a hurry.
Here they come. Shelf. Fire is complete on the first pass to Jackson, and he's got the first down to start this drive.
Pretty good start.
And they're now up tempo. They live up tempo. Here comes the blitz. Runs away from it. Going to try to get the first down, and he does. Fumble, balls are loose, picked up. Now hold on, it was down, ruled down.
Great decision to get out of there, bail on it, and then try to get to the marker, because Kansas State's in prevent. They're trying to keep everything in front of this defense. A good job of not waiting to bail. He got out of there in a hurry and got the first.
Shelf got a man open, deflected, incomplete. He missed his tight end. Blake Jackson was wide open in the middle of the field that time.
I think he locked in that time to Josh Stewart. I think he felt that he could squeeze that in there. Didn't necessarily look and read the coverage. There are two defenders there. That was a tough throw to make.
2nd and 10 with 3.5 minutes to go now. Randall flares out, and it was deflected at the line of scrimmage, and here comes a 3rd and 10.
It's like the big freshman Travis Bridge got his hand on that, knocked it down against Oklahoma State. It's hard to get to the Oklahoma State quarterbacks. They've only allowed 3 sacks on the entire year. So you got to be able to get your hands up as a defensive lineman. Good job by the freshman.
Well, you got the 2 inside men. Shelf's in trouble. That's a fumble. That's a loose ball. It was punched by Williams. the fine defensive lineman, Meshach Williams.
Tuggle didn't allow him that time to break contain. He's had some success buying time by getting outside of the pocket. Tuggle, the linebacker, blitzed to his blind side, and it spooked him a little bit and made him panic.
Now it is 4th down and 10. 3:20. Cowboys going for it. This could be the Cowboys' last chance. And he's got the first down, Stewart. Picked up 14 yards on that pass with 3:14. The Cowboys still alive with Clint Shelf at the controls now, and he's 14 to 22. He's thrown for 200 yards here off that bench. Got time, middle, good to the 22-yard line, and he comes right back to Stewart.
Again, stretching him to sideline, then getting upfield vertically, and that in a hurry. Stewart checks out of the game, and Oklahoma State trying to stay fresh. Kansas State's got to call a timeout.
30-second timeout.
So timeout has been called by the Wildcats. Cowboys on the drive again.
Which university did the Department of Defense partner with to help develop new unmanned aerial systems? The same one the National Institutes of Health partnered with to help develop new anthrax antibiotics. And the same one NASA partnered with to help design inflatable space habitats that reduce the effects of zero gravity. Which university? Oklahoma State University, America's brightest orange.
Let's move! Quick, let's go. Y'all got it? Coming down. Come on, hurry up. Over there. Almost there.
Here it comes.
Raise it up.
Showtime.
Block by block, piece by piece, the Big 12 is standing strong.
First down and 10 for the Cowboys. From the Wildcats' 23-yard line. 3 minutes to go, down 14. Shelf going to take off, and he's to the 20-yard line, wrestled down by Davis.
Still enough time where they don't need to expend any of these timeouts. Hold on to those 3 timeouts as long as they can. They can score in such a hurry that they want to try to hold on to them.
Shelf is back. Deep, end zone, incomplete. I don't see a penalty flag on it either. That was Chapman, the defensive back, who made a fine play.
Same route that they threw earlier for the touchdown, where they took Blake Jackson to the middle of the field, and it occupied the safety, and it made that one-on-one coverage to the outside. Moore hit that earlier for the touchdown.
Do you think Chapman got away with something?
Pretty close. Yeah, he hooked it there. Yep.
3rd down and 7. Shelf, quick, incomplete. And they'll come down to 4th down again. So here we come now, your 4th down play. They've converted 1 on this drive, trying to stay alive.
Really love Shelf's attitude tonight. I don't know how this game's going to end, but I just love what he's doing and the way he's leading his team. That time, Blake Jackson, ball was perfectly thrown. He just wasn't anticipating the football. Wasn't ready for it.
Timeout has been called. Gundy walked down the sideline to call the timeout before this 4th down snap. Bill Snyder, you know there are so many stats, Herbie, about Snyder. I want to give you one.
Yep.
In the 10 years before Snyder won, before he was first named head coach here, in the 10 years, all right, the Wildcats went 1-9 against Oklahoma State. In the 10 years right after he showed up for term 1, now 2 of the years they did not play Oklahoma State because of the Big 12 divisions, he went 7-1 against Oklahoma State. just like that, he turned it around.
That says it all right there.
4th down and 7, and here we go for the Cowboys. Got his man incomplete, and is there a penalty flag? Yes, there is. A penalty flag comes flying. And Gundy thinks that flag should have flown earlier. That's what he was complaining about.
I think he's frustrated because the official who was standing right in front of it actually reached into his pocket to call it, and then he didn't call it. It came from the official in the back.
Interference by number 24 of the defense.
That's
Malone. Spot foul and an automatic first down.
So that's a spot foul, but a first down.
The official is pretty close. It's a no-brainer there. Malone hooked him with his left arm.
You got both of them. His right hand is on him, too. I mean.
No. Right call, and gives Jelf and the Cowboys offense another chance here. 2:31.
2.5 minutes now. Empty backfield for Jelf. Throws in underneath, and Stewart is rustled down at the 8-yard line. So this will bring up a 2nd down. And, of course, anytime K-State can keep him out of the end zone, they eat up some time here. They got it down to 2:14 and counting. Jelf throwing to the right corner. Dive, jump ball, intercepted. Picked off by you-know-who. The hat trick for Chapman. Alan Chapman with his 3rd interception of the night. The senior from San Francisco who played at the City College of San Francisco before transferring here. And he has a rare night for a defensive back.
Watch the quarterback. Wait. So many of his throws have been get back, get the ball out. Get back, get the ball out. It's one of the few times he had to sit back there, hitch. I think it affected his rhythm and timing, and he actually underthrew the football to allow Chapman, number 3, to come up with his 3rd interception. It's one of the few poor throws we've seen from Clint Jelf on the night.
Any question about who the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week will be?
No.
You're looking at that, young man.
I think that's pretty easy.
3 interceptions. And one night, here comes Pease. Pease gets the corner and goes down. Smart move. Well coached. Keep the clock moving. Now, Oklahoma State can stop it a couple of times with their timeouts. We've moved inside of a couple of minutes.
Pretty good effort by Oklahoma State to try to fight their way back into this game. And if they would have put a touchdown on the board there, they're within 7, and then it comes down to an onside kick. Clint Jelf should be very proud of what he was able to do in trying to get this team back in the game.
So Pease will run that Wildcat again. And he'll keep it behind Wilson, breaking free. And depending on the spot, it appears like he's got a first down here with 1:23. So the Wildcats, it appears, are going to stay unbeaten. One of that Final 4. And still, Alabama is under fire with 3:23 to go. Who knows? Bill Snyder and Kansas State could be number 1 by tomorrow night. And again, what time is that show? 8:30 for you guys?
8:30 Eastern.
8:30 Eastern. I'll be there, Herbie. I'll be watching.
You want to hop on with us? I'd love to get some of your opinions on this. Don't be surprised if Alabama loses. Oregon's sitting at 2 in the coaches poll and the Harris poll. They're going to get a lot of first place votes. That could move Oregon up.
Can you tell me how many points USC scored tonight?
They scored a ton.
All right, here's Notre Dame now. Hurry, we'll get that in a second. They survived in 3 overtimes. You and I were watching that all day against Pittsburgh. There's the Oregon sword, okay, and LSU roaring back. They lead Alabama. I think, what we got, about 3.5 to go in that game, something like that. Okay, now, Herbie, how many points did USC score?
A bunch.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
The coaches aren't going to consider the defense that Oregon didn't play?
What they're going to do is what they do every week. If number 1 loses, who's at 2, and they'll move that number 2 team up to 1.
Well, I'm interested in BCS.
Well, but the BCS, you got to remember, 2/3 of the BCS is the coaches poll and the Harris poll.
So you think that Oregon is going to jump Kansas State?
Oregon's got a shot to go past Notre Dame and Kansas State.
Wow. Mr. Herbstreit out on that duck limb.
We'll see.
I'm saying that Kansas State's staying number 2 after this performance.
Staying at 2?
They'll stay at 2.
Yeah, and Oregon will go to 1. They'll stay at 2.
They're going to stay here and go. I had your Crimson Tide coming back. Good one, though. All right, let's go check in with Heather.
Bill, congratulations, now 9-0 and undefeated. This is the first time that anybody on your team or you in your second stint has beaten Oklahoma State. What does it mean to the program to get over that hump?
Well, I've been here for a long time, so we've won a game or 2 against Oklahoma State.
Just in your second stint, nobody on this team has done it. So
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that. You know, we just work for today and try to get better today.
Coach, what can you tell us about Colin Klein and why he didn't return to the game?
Well, obviously there was an injury, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the extent of the injury?
No, I don't speak about injuries.
Coach, you stay undefeated, and I know that you don't like to look ahead, but tonight with Notre Dame and Oregon and you guys undefeated and Alabama being tested right now, where does that put you in the picture tonight?
I have no idea. I don't know any scores. I don't know where we are, other than that we won a ball game and we've got to go in and try to get ready for the next one.
We'll let you do that now.
Sorry.
It's okay, Coach. Thank you.
There goes the old ball coach.
Sergeant Schultz. I know nothing.
I want to go back and take a look now at Colin Klein on this touchdown. I want to see, he goes in and his head slams down into the turf. And
well, there was that hit, and then there was another piece of video that we had where it looked like a player got a hold of his right wrist, and he came up kind of holding his wrist as well.
So we wonder now, when your marquee quarterback is injured, how long can you go before you say something about it? I know the coach is very tight-lipped about injuries, as he told Heather, but this is not just your ordinary injury. I mean, this is your quarterback of an unbeaten team, and so we shall see. But that's a story still unfolding, and
Heisman
wow,
front runner as well.
Let's hope that he's going to be okay, Herbie. I certainly hope that there's not an injury that's going to sideline him at all. Once again, Herbie, the final score 44-30. Your final thoughts here.
It's another impressive win for Kansas State. Okie State, good effort to come back.
Thanks for watching ESPN on ABC. ESPN, the home of the Discover BCS National Championship. Now we take you to the studio for the Ford wrap-up with Robert Flores. Robert, take it away with that Alabama-LSU game, my friend.